Of Legal University, and my action plan is entitled Pause Muna, Peace Muna. Actually, this is a radio program ongoing at CBT Radio every Sunday, Z100.3 News FM. So I'm going to make this actually as my extension activity as part of the faculty of the College of Arts and Letters. So my problem statement. This is actually inspired by a song by the main ingredient entitled You and Me, that a happy person will result in a happy community to a happy nation. So I put it this way. A peaceful person makes a peaceful family. A peaceful family makes a peaceful community. A peaceful community makes a peaceful nation. And peaceful nations make a peaceful world. So with this in mind, the Brown Commander's guest with Professor Maria Lourdes Aseneta, as its coordinator, launched the Pause Muna, Peace Muna campaign. And I, a media practitioner, suggested to her to use radio to disseminate the peace campaign. So it started on June 4, 2016. So it's about 2 years now. The objectives are to launch the Pause Muna, Peace Muna campaign of Brown Commanders, to create awareness of peace in the community, to discuss issues related to peace, to inspire listeners to go for peace and avoid conflicts, and to persuade people to take action in the pursuit of peace within and outside of themselves. So this radio program focuses on peace awareness. Hosts discuss qualities people should have in order to have inner peace. If everyone has inner peace, it's related to a community of peace-loving people. The program host, these are our qualifications. Actually, my name is Lali. It's a shortcut for Lola Lili, because I'm a senior citizen. But when I'm a DJ, my name is Lily Yellow. Lali, my partner there is Lila. That's her nickname. She's Professor Maria Lourdes Aseneta, the Executive Director of Children's International. And she's actually taking Doctor of Philosophy and Communication at Open University at UP. So this happens every 5 o'clock to 6:30 a.m. every Sunday. So this is for the early birds who wake up that time. And it's aired at CBT 100.3 News FM at the Camilo Building in Melga Roses, that's Tahoe Road, Gaston City. And it is actually heard all over the world because we are doing live streaming at www.cbt.com, and you can download it from Novex Radio app. Rather, download it from the Play Store. You have the Novex Radio app. So you can listen to us anywhere in the world. And this is a program flow. We begin at 5 o'clock. You hear station ID, the jingle, and the intro. Then we introduce ourselves, welcome listeners. Lila recites a reflection for the day quote, and I ask about it, and Lila explains. Then I play music which is inspirational and which is apt to the topic, related to the topic. Then at 5:15, Lila announces the time and asks Lali to do a recap of the topic the previous Sunday. Then we join in the recap. The two hosts exchange ideas. Lali plays the second song, then the advertisement and station ID. Then at 5:30, Lali checks the time and asks me what is the topic for the day, to discuss the topic in Filipino and English. The guest is introduced and joins the discussion if there is a guest. Then we have the Bible verse intro, Bible dramatization. But actually that's not ours, it is part of the Sagitsin program. So we have to include it. Then we issue discussion, the song is played, Lali and Lila summarizes the discussion, Lila meditates, and then we say farewell and invites them again to listen. Invites the audience, I mean. The budget is low budget actually. I did not put the total because I'm going to ask whether their host will be paid or not. But at Pickle University, they don't pay. Am I correct? Anyway, this is our mission. For monitoring and evaluation, we can do it through the quarterly PSRC survey and through text messages from listeners and by conducting survey via live streaming since Agitsit Radio can be heard worldwide. For the persons involved, myself, my co-host, Professor Agnes Lassin as Extension Coordinator, and Dr. Irene Moral as a Research Coordinator. We'll do our research after this program. Would you like to hear a sample?
Yes.
Sample of the program? Yes. Sure. But we're going to just choose some parts because it's about 1 hour and a half. That's our intro. We have a jingle. You can do the jingle. That's Lila.
Ganda mag-was mo na piso na
Tsaka ako eh. Alam mo bang nabasa ko?
Peace FM. This National Peace Advocacy Campaign is being brought to you by the Brahma Kumaris Philippine Spiritual Foundation Incorporated in cooperation with C100.3 Second Sea News FM.
Well, thank you, Billy, but we are earlier than you. Our time is 4:35. Hello, good morning, welcome sa Palatuntunan. Boss muna, peace muna. Kasama niyong lingkod, si Lali. Okay.
Lila, good morning.
Good morning
Sa
din.
boss muna, base muna.
Alam mo, Lila, 1 month na tayo.
Oo. Anniversary ang tawag dyan.
Oo nga, naka-4 ng Sundays tayo. So, ngayon, ang unang linggo natin sa buwan ng Hulyo.
Oo.
Okay.
Kumbaga, kung meron film ng American Friendship Day.
Bukas yun.
Bukas yun. Ito ay ating friendship sa ating mga tagapagpapalito.
Oo.
Friendship sa buong mundo. Ang programang Boss Muna.
Kaya, start your morning right with a smile by listening to this unique radio program that refreshes the mind, heart, and soul with music, musings, and meditation for the spirit, di ba? Alam mo ba na, ano bang ibig sabihin nun?
Music. So,
Ibang nasa isip ko yung matanda. Ay, huwag na, masama yun.
ibang tatlong episode.
4 na yung mga alam ko eh. Huwag ko hindi ko nasasabihin. In the first place. Kung yung ginamit mo yung isip ko, magandang grapes.
At mas lahat,
They're rolling.
oo.
Bumis-bumis na grabe.
Oo.
Have you experienced that? Oh, you're so prim and proper.
Lahat naman marunong kumawa talaga ng halakhak, diba? Kapag talaga kasi
Okay. So we have a guest. He's actually a doctor of alternative medicine.
With all due respect to the medical staff,
Yes.
because I'm also a doctor,
yes po.
it does not take the root cause of the disease. It's okay to do it for as long as gagawin yung root,
Sabahin din
pa rin yung root cause.
Okay, that's it. Actually, if you want to know what Boss Happy Sumina is, I want to invite everyone to listen to the program every Sunday, 5 to 6:30 a.m. at Z100.3 News FM. Thank you very much. You use the cell phone because some who will wake up early would interact with us by texting messages. But actually, that's one plan of action wherein we're going to improve the monitoring and evaluation.
Yes, so this is one challenge, and have anybody in the room listened to a radio broadcast?
Yes. Really?
Are you inspired by it?
Yes.
Is that why you're here?
No, I'm not the reason why they're here. You are the reason.
Okay, so are there other radio channels on Peace in this area, in Bicol region, or in the Philippines, how many radios
I
talk
think
about
it's
peace?
it's a unique program because I haven't heard any program like that here about the peace campaign or awareness. Because we believe that we are living in dangerous times and troubled times, so we need to attain inner peace. Because we believe that if we are peaceful persons and all these people are peaceful, we would have communities are at peace.
I think so. Thank you very much for the great work.
Okay, so our group members are Chiki here, Anna and Brad Lloyd Bernine. So to start with, please welcome Chiki to discuss about our rationale. Chiki.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Our proposed project is entitled Overcoming Poverty Through Connections. The proponents agreed that our priority issue will be poverty, and poverty seems to be the problem all over the universe. It's like an epidemic phenomenon that affects the life of every human being. There is no country in the world wherein poverty does not exist. No wonder why it was on the top list of the Sustainable Development Goals, wherein the goal by 2030 in the end is to end poverty in all its forms everywhere. In other country, poverty is very visible yesterday, even today, and hopefully not tomorrow anymore. According to the statistics, 7.5% as of January 2014 is the rate of unemployed and unskilled residents from the various barangays. Thus, one of the mandated functions of Bicol University is the extension service proposed by the university. BU adopted a single barangay to implement various programs for its development. In line with the program of the Department of Peace Studies and Durog Saturnino, the group chose this topic because eradicating poverty also means eradicating structural violence and less conflict. We, the proponent, believe that through this event, residents would be given a chance to have a blue-collar job even without formal education but have undergone proper technical vocational skills and training. One of the root causes of poverty is the lack of education or lack of job opportunities. In connection with this, the Department of Peace Studies will be spearheading an event that aims to educate and train out-of-school youth to equip them and provide them with various job opportunities through partnership with the institution such as the SWD, DOLE, DTI, and TESDA.
So the goals are to train out of the school youth 18 above to have their source of income either through employment or having a small-scale business. So Bicol University, or the vision of Bicol University, is a world-class university producing leaders and change agents for social transformation and development. The objectives of the plan. First is to give opportunities to out-of-school youth to gain technical vocational skill through partnership with the TESDA. Second, to provide out-of-school youth a list of job opportunities through scholarship. 3. To help them provide their basic needs and to be productive. 4. In the end of the event, participants will gain their NC2 title and could establish small-scale businesses.
So, in gaining those goals and objectives of ours, these are our proposed activities. So, first of all, we have to talk to the department head, which is Dr. Rosana. Our expected output is that the department head would give additional information, suggestions, and recommendations. And so the persons involved is the department head and the group leader. Second would be coordination with the barangay captain of Bitano, barangay captain Pajardo, for the seminar and for a venue through lectures. So our expected output would be the barangay captain would suggest conducive to learning venue and approve the said request. Then, we are going to coordinate with the TESDA for the resources speaker and conduct a livelihood training through a letter too. So, I will not elaborate because it's already given in there. So, we better, Tapos, so the next would be invite the resources speaker from the DOLE through a letter and request for finding a workplace for those newly trained residents. And so, the last one would be invite a representative from DTI to discuss about money management and putting up a small-scale business through a letter. So, as you can observe, it's all through letters po yung namin for formalities. Tapos, ito po yung proposed activities. Registration, preliminaries, prayers, overview of, here in the overview of the activity to be conducted, we are to discuss the flow of program, the sequence po, and the introduction of the facilitators and speakers. In getting to know yung activity po namin is that we will let the participants know each other po, since we believe that it is more conducive in learning if you know your group mates or like that po. And so the snacks won't be siya mawawala. So the next one would be talk from the representative of DOLE about the job opportunities and strategies in applying the jobs. Yung magiging role po dito ng DOLE is that mag-talk po siya sa list ng job opportunities po na eto pong mga youth na pwede nilang pasukan. And that would, so from 9:30 to 11:30, medyo mahaba-haba po kasi elaborate po ng DOLE. Tapos, after lunch po, yung sa TESDA naman po kung ano po yung mga jobs and training na available po for the youth. And then from the DTI po, gusto po namin mag-conduct ng money management workshop po para po ma-manage nila ng maayos yung business nila and yung sa small scale business po. Tapos eto na po. Tapos afternoon snack and choosing line, kasi po, papapiliin po natin yung youth which track are they going to choose. Is it the small scale business or the technical vocation training for TESDA po. And after po nila mag-choose which track are they going to basta kakarinig nila, gano'n. May mga announcements po, further announcements. And the part 2 of the action plan is the larger training in TESDA or DTI, yung sinasabi ko po na pinili nila. And the part 3 po, the last part would be the evaluation of the result. Ito po yung funding requirements namin. Continue sa fund. And it would, our fund source would be sponsorships and solicitations from brothers and sisters. Here are the potential challenges po. The failure of participants to pass the assessment in the vocational training in TESDA. Yung po bagang may mga qualities na hindi po makakakuha ng NC2, yun po yung nakikita naming potential challenges. And cooperation of the participants, yung hindi po sila nagpa-participate, fully participating, like umaalis-alis and hindi na bumabalik. And yung accommodation din po, because our target participant would be 50 out-of-school youths. So, I don't know po, I've never been to Bintano's barangay hall, so I don't know po if it can accommodate 50 persons. And the seed money for small-scale business, yung in connection po with the DTI. Indicators of success. The indicators of success are good partnership, full cooperation, positive evaluation by meeting participants and trainers, and increase in employment rate. Okay, so eto po yung linkages. The Bicol University, the College of Social Sciences and Philosophy, the BAPS Department, and DOLE, TESDA, DTI, and DSWD. Some of you might be wondering why DSWD. Ang function po ng DSWD dito is that they are to give us information regarding the organized out-of-school youth, which is the PAYAP or PIAP. Miss Marisa Pasta, the DSW, told me when I talked to her. The PAYAP is the organized out-of-school youth, wherein it is an organization of out-of-school youth po sa Bitano, and she gave me already the persons involved there. So, and the Youth Peace Ambassador International. And that would be all po. Thank you. I mean, these are the proponents po. Sorry, the proponents po. Wow. Hi, Brad. Thank you po.
The title itself is actually very peaceful. When you use overcome, it sounds you are at war, right? Overcoming poverty. So that sounds utopian. So we suggest, if you like, how about changing the title to maybe Enterprising Youth, then Improving Lives Through Multi-Agency Community Action.
I will accept that po, madam. Thank you for that suggestion.
Means they overcome something, you are at war. That's already ambitious.
Thank you for madam.
Hello, so you never instantly accept the suggestion. Think about the word poverty. The new title doesn't mention poverty, the suggested. So if you want to keep poverty, which is a central issue and a central SDG, you could always say something like opportunities to liberate people from poverty, or something like that. Liberation might be a better word than overcoming, if you like. Oh, I don't mind overcoming. Interesting comments. So you can reflect. Any other comments?
It's too big for you guys.
Why?
Overcoming poverty. You dream big, you start small. That is what your action plan is all about. Starting small up, it can have reverberations. So this is just that you just tone it down and the title, so it won't be quite ambitious.
Okay, any other comments?
Napaka-forceful yan pag gagawin yung overcome. Ako masyado. Even the DSW people cannot overcome poverty. Up to now, we still have that. But improving lives is more positive. You know why? Because it suggests concrete
but doable actions. Actions that can be done at your level.
Your reaction?
I think I am to accept her suggestion because
Please
it
do not
convinced
feel
me.
compelled.
No, madam. I feel like it's justified.
Okay.
Other comments from team members? Why? Comments? All members, please.
That our title was not, hindi talaga,
Speak in English.
we did not prepare for the title. We just yes. That's
So,
Just feeling nervous.
she's feeling nervous? Good. Good, you're feeling nervous. Stand on stage. Come on. Any other comments? Any other suggestions of how to improve the action plan? Any recommendations for them? Did they present well?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Our students coming from Equal University, College of Social Sciences and Philosophy, taking the course of Bachelor of Arts in Basic Studies and probably saying fourth year. So, sa pagiging years na, sa pagiging part ng peace advocates, ito ang nagawa namin proposal. So, pag-agurog sa tuninong sharing peace, nurturing young minds. So, course related siya, and then as a youth, as na-observe namin sa paligid namin at sa community, parang ito yung nagawa naming proposal. So, ito ang project title, Sharing Peace, Nurturing Minds. Proponent from we. So, marami pa kami kasama, so wala kasi sila dito. So, partner organizations, maybe Department of Education, kasi more on educating siya, and local government unit, partner organizations, youth peace ambassadors, YPA action plan. So, ang target date namin will be on February 2019, target area Legazpi City High School, Mindanao, Legazpi City. And our target participants would be 100 students from first year to fourth year, including students leaders. So, actually, sa mga nangyaring conversations ngayong araw, kahapon, medyo sabi ko, medyo relate siya sa topic namin. Kasi parang sabi ba nila kung ang learning ba nakaka-contribute sa peace. So sabi ko, yes, siguro. Kasi kung wala kang learning sa sarili mo, hindi mo matututunan magkaroon ng inner peace or ng peace sa sarili mo. As well, pag wala kang peace sa sarili, hindi ka makaka-contribute sa peace sa society.
Only English.
So, we came from the Bicol University, which is an academic institution serving as a potential agent for increased environmental consciousness within the region, with being a staunch example of a great campus through the adherence to standard policies and legislations, and going further to reach out to the communities as well. So, proudly saying that we came from the Bachelor of Arts in Basic Studies, which aims preparing young men and women for leadership roles in society, imbued with a humanistic and liberal education, espousing a philosophy and a culture of peace. So, I have certain introductions sa part na aming proposal. So, youth compromise over billions of people. Tama po. So, and we cannot deny that millions of them live in violence and conflict-affected environment. So, ethnic diversity as well, religious, economic, social, and political differences create multiple barriers within societies, which most often fails to respond to the needs of the young people. In this absence of opportunities and participation, youth become vulnerable and many times they cause a vicious cycle of violence and stigmatization. So, in other words, much contemporary thinking on youth and conflict tends to be overly negative. So, the young vacillate between two extremes of infantilizing and demonizing. So, on the other hand, youth are viewed as vulnerable, powerless, and in need of protection. However, on the other, they are feared as dangerous, violent, apathetic, and a threat to security. They are subjected to stereotyping images of being angry, drunk, and stressed. So, that's how we look youth right now. So therefore, according to recent literatures, youth societies marks a shift in thinking about youth. So, according to these literatures, kinakailangan ng perspective and acknowledgements sa importance ng making connection between the youngs and peace building for transforming a predominantly negative discourse and the role of the youth in societies in raising peace. So we must have communication, or we must communicate to youth to resolve this kind of thinking sa amin. So, ito ang problem statement. So, the Bicol University College of Social Sciences and Philosophy, Department of Peace Studies, in partnership with the Junior Peace Advocates, will spearheading a 2 days, 1 night activity camp for the student and student leaders entitled Sharing Peace, Nurturing Young Minds in February 2019 at Legazpi National High School, Bitaano, Legazpi City. So, why 2 days, 1 night camp? So, as a youth, gusto namin na matuto habang nagkakaroon ng activity. So for us, we learn a lot through activity. Not just lectures, not just symposiums, we want mga activities. So this activity aims to enlighten young minds about peace through giving an opportunity to learn, to be aware, and to be educated in peace in order for them to have invaluable roles in the contribution of building more inclusive and peaceful societies. So here are the objectives of our action plan. First is to broadening youth knowledge about peace. 2, empowering youth to transform conflict and build peace. And 3, to promote sustainable peace and resiliency among young minds. So here will be the activities of our proposal.
So, these are our activities. First, we conduct meetings with the Junior Peace Advocates and Peace Studies faculties and department head. Our expected output: prepare activity plans for the proposed project. Personnel involved: JPA organization officers, Peace Studies student leaders, Department of Peace Studies faculty and department head. Second, conduct meeting with the Bitaano National High School, principal, local government unit, Department of Education, and parents of the students. Our expected output: presentation and discussion of the content and significance of the program, to prepare the project proposal for approval and implementation. Personnel involved: Legazpi National High School, principal, DepEd, JPA president, department advisor, LGU, and the parents of the students involved. Our flow of the program will be discussed by Joey.
So, good afternoon to all of you. The flow of the program is at 8 o'clock to 12 noon. The activity, there is this is expected to the arrival of the participants, registration, preparation of tents or rooms to be occupied, and preparation for lunch. At 1 o'clock p.m., call time welcome remarks. At 1:30 to 2 o'clock p.m., introduction of different patrols and facilitators. And 2 o'clock to 3 p.m., what is peace? So peace is defined so that the participants will know what is peace all about. 3 o'clock to 3:30 p.m., activity regarding topic 1. 3:30 to 4:30 p.m., presentation of outputs. And 4:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m., back to camp preparation and preparation for the 6 o'clock to 6:30 p.m. campfire, and 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. there will be an activity number 2, be aware, storytelling. This composed of storytelling, sharings, and discussions. And specifically this part, it will discuss on the Republic Act 7160, and Republic Act 9262. Anti-violence against women and children, but supposedly para lang sa children. At 5 o'clock a.m. on day 2, call time energizer, 6 o'clock to 7 a.m. grade pass. So, in 9 o'clock, at 9 o'clock to 10:30 a.m. there will be also an activity item piece. Entitled item piece. At 8 to after 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock p.m. there will be a presentation of outputs on activity number 3. And 2 o'clock to 2:30 p.m. there will be a sharing of learnings about the activity. 2:30 p.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. awarding of the best, and 3 o'clock to 3:30 p.m. messages of the facilitators. 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. general cleaning, and 4:30 p.m. closing program.
So, ito po yung sa funding requirements. So, papakita na lang po namin sa materials from 5,000 Economic Generating Project and other expenses, maybe sa mga partnerships and specific organizations as well as solicitation. So, participants namin is 100, including student leaders. So, potential challenges, syempre, as a school camp or camp siya, weather changes, maybe sa security and sa venue. Sa indication of success, syempre cooperation ng lahat, as well as kung maraming nagpa-partners and funding sa program. So, through the program, it may help in empowering the youth in transforming conflict and peace, being aware of all peace-related issues, and to promote peace and resiliency among the young minds. So, youth are more than victims of poverty and economic doctrine. They can be agents of change. So, education, leadership, and peace. So, we want to share peace. That's why we want to teach peace. So, peace with you. So, thank you. Questions?
Group composed of lots of members. At least 7 members.
Yes. So it's enough to handle 100. Other comments?
They're good to go. Very good presentation.
Good to go? Okay, well done. Yeah? We look forward to the report.
Next is to use public school wall to promote peace, understanding, and cooperation between the youth in the community and the other sectors of the barangay. Next is to express ideas about peace artistically and to raise and inspire the community through art. My project description is this project will have a registration of 350 pesos only per group of artists containing 3 members. Only shall be collected upon the submission of the application form together with the 8 inches by 11 inches poster as an official entry for the contest that is anchored to the theme One Hand, One Goal, Cultivating Inner Peace. The registration will start on August 21 to 2018 and will end on September 13, 2018. So the participants must provide and use their personal mixing plate or palette, pencil and brushes during the contest. Other painting materials will be given during the event per group, including the acrylic paint, pail, rags, newspaper, and other materials that may help them to produce their artworks. Also, they must consume only the given materials for the rest of the contest. They will be only given 2 days and a half to complete the mural paint on a given size of wall, and the participants will be scored according to the following criteria. So here is the criteria will be graded out. since this is a contest. First is 5% will be very satisfactory, 4% satisfactory, 3% is average, 2% fair, and 1% poor. They will be graded according to the relevance of the mural paint is anchored to the theme. The unity and cooperation of the group is shown during the contest. The output is clear and well planned. Use of colors, symbols, techniques, creativity, and uniqueness is highly applied. The total of 20%. The activities expected outputs, personnel involved, or the first is conduct meeting with the Sangguniang Kabataan Council. Expected output is to prepare activity plans for the proposed project. Personnel involved are the Sangguniang Kabataan of Barangay 56 Council and the Barangay 56 Council. And next is to conduct meeting with the Queen Pinas Albay President, YMCA of Albay General Secretary, trees and lab advisor, and the other involved and interested organizations. This is the program for the day 1. They will be by 7:30 a.m. to 8:15 is the registration distribution of kits by theme. Opening activities will be followed. Invocation to the national anthem, welcome remarks, overview of the event, message, discussion of general guidelines for the mural contest, for the proper mural contest. Then the open forum, they will be given 1 hour to ask questions during the do's and don'ts during the mural painting contest. Day 2 arrivals, continuation of the mural painting, and same with the day 3 until 3 o'clock p.m. So by 3:15 to 4 o'clock p.m. they will be judges will be room to see or look for their output. By 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock p.m., awarding of winners and certificate of participants, and lastly is the acknowledgement. Here are my funding requirements. So basically this is mataas yung fund. So that's why I put a partnership with the higher organizations that I know will help me to implement these projects. So, of course, yung paints, brushes, and other tools are basically mahal. So, yun. Then, potential challenges. For the outdoor mural, the consideration of the mural's potential exposure to the light or weather, and prepare and protect this substrate accordingly. The expenses can quickly add up because of the large scale of the mural contest activity and the absence of the teamwork to finish the activity. So far, these are the potential challenges that I'm seeing that will challenge this activity. The indicators of success. Since one of my objectives of the activity is to gather the local artists and Legazpi and to promote these artistically, the following are the indicators of success to implement this activity. First is the eagerness of the participants to transfer ideas artistically. Next is the message of the mural painting anchored to the theme given. And lastly, the participants have clearly understand the objectives of the activity. So for I am editing team, and thank you for listening.
Big companies like Davis and
Yes.
Boys and
My target is Davis.
Okay, they actually provide fund for the mural painting. I just gave my suggestions that they should connect with Davis, the mga paint company. Yes, because they are also providing funds for mural paintings.
Other comments?
Since you are into art, using art, could you make it a little bit more artistic and title, like The Great Wall of Trees, Mural Paint Contest? Yes, kasi you used to be under me in the theatres, di ba?
Thank you, The Great Wall of Trees is the name of the school, so it's around the school. Which I have built, I have financed the setting up of the wall. I
think Mom lesson will find some brushes.
I'm very proud to tell you that we teachers at DepEd, contrary to popular notion, we are actually very passionate about our work. Before I transferred to Bicol University, I was with her school, the school where she graduated from. I was the terror teacher. So we have built a wall fence around the school because we didn't have funds, and the DepEd has no fund at the time. So we built that wall out of our pockets, and the pockets of the Great Wall of Trees because many people were involved in putting up that wall. So it's a Great Wall of Trees, Peace Mural Contest.
Si Ma'am Nancy po, magbaban yun for sure sa topics participants. Thank you.
So was she your teacher in the class?
Yes, I'm my English and Values teacher. Yes, Ma'am.
I think you should review your routines for the assessment.
Yes, Ma'am Barbara. I will. Thank you.
Other comments? Okay, so perhaps also, hold on, you haven't finished yet. You haven't finished yet, still more questions. So, Madam Professor? Yes. So, in fact, it would be perhaps an interesting suggestion, which you're writing down the notes here, that you will have you could have an advisory board for the community involved in the project. It might include some of the former teachers or members of the community and give their comments on what type of paint and what type of painting they would like. Because if we paint street art or school art, it might be nice to also involve the community. You could say, well, look, what would you like to be painted on the wall? And if you express your opinion, could you contribute a couple thousand pesos towards the program? And then ask other members. And maybe another question, though, is then would you accept if a local shop wants to sponsor you, then would they be able to put their commercial in amongst the mural? Do we accept that or not? And that's why Rowena was saying have a big company, but what say the company wants to have a logo? Do we have a policy on that?
Well, my suggestion is you put under your strategy, you involve the big media around, the ABS, GMA, they should provide TV coverage because these business people, they want publicity for their charity work. So you better so while they are doing it, the contest, it should be covered by the local television. So it would be a big thing.
Right on, thank you. So for ladies, sir, there is a limited size. So to put their advertisement or logo on the wall,
Yes?
Earlier, I heard somebody said that we should get sponsorship from Boyson and Davis. I think you're gonna do it, and it should be board. Why? Because they are competing companies, and they do not like to be together. Only one.
Yes, only one. Since my former organization is in line with it.
Okay. So choose the best.
But really, since we are talking about peace, then that will be a good avenue for them to go on answers. But reality bites.
Actually, in playing advertisements on the radio, you cannot put them together. They need to have long gap because they're competing companies. You don't put them together.
Ito sa likod ng school.
Thank you po.
Okay, thank you very much.
Everyone po. Hi, good afternoon po. Good afternoon. I am Tarong Paul T. Banyares, BAC student po, fourth year. And this is my group members, Jerome Bormeo and Daniel Laguno. Our project proposal is entitled Organic Farming, Urban Gardening is the Answer. Problem statement. Hunger is one of the main causes of poverty. Most of the people, especially in the poor areas, suffered this kind of problem. In order to end this kind of problem, we must focus on the needs of the people, especially when it comes to food security. It aims to provide a source of food for the people that can sustain their daily needs, that can also prevent malnutrition. We anchor this project proposal to the second Sustainable Development Goal, which is the Zero Hunger. The aim of this SDG is to end hunger, achieve food security, and improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. Also, this is just a promotion statement to Bicol University. Bicol University is an academic institution that also helps in promoting peace and raise awareness about hunger within the region and promote a non-violence community. By this, yung like yung mga programs na ginagawa ng students from BU, like that, and in partnership with other organizations. Objectives of the action plan. Increase the awareness about food security, sustainability in the community by means of conducting seminar or workshop about urban farming.
Train the students the proper way of urban farming. Promote peace while battling hunger. Come up with new strategies and ideas on how to produce more crops in the community by means of organic farming. This will be our activities in conducting this action plan. Conduct a seminar or workshop about farming practices. Activity number 2, distribution of seeds. Activity number 3, meet experienced farmers and ask for their help in teaching the participants. So, we are going to look for experienced farmers just to help us in conducting this. And the expected output. Give knowledge to the participants about the proper way of farming practices. Success growth of the seeds that will serve as their source of food. Constant regular supply of the crops within the community. And these were the persons involved. Community residents, barangay officials, farmers, and junior peace advocates.
Our response will be 50 persons. Sama-sama na po ito yung community residents, barangay officials, farmers, and junior peace advocates.
So the funding requirements of these activities are, the particulars are first is the seeds to be planted, the snacks to be given during this seminar or the workshop, and the certificates and tokens for the speakers and also the farming tools. So the expenses of these activities are in seeds to be planted. It is amounted of 5,000 pesos. And for the snacks during the seminar and workshop, 15,000 pesos because it is the seminars or the workshop is a 2-day workshop, and the certificates and tokens for the speakers and the farming tools is 20,000 pesos. So all in all, the expenses of the activity is 40,000 pesos, and the fund sources are from the barangay officials, then the city agriculture office, yung mga seeds po galing sa city of Agriculture Office kasi donate daw po sila ng mga seeds. So makakatulong yun sa activity na yun. And the third is the sponsorship from the FGU, the income generating projects, Bicol University sponsorship, and in partnership with Madam Zoilo in seeking other linkages and also the donations of farming tools. The timeline of our activity is from August to December 2018. So from August to September, it is 1 month. So getting of funds and sponsors and conducting of seminars about the proper way of farming. And from September to December, it is included there the monitoring of the seeds that are planted and the checking of the progress of the project. If the seeds grow and
So sa checking the progress of the project, we can also conclude na whether the seeds will grow or will not kasi it will also fail, like yung mga possible na conditions like magkabagyo, other calamities po. Nakasabay na rin po dito yung sa possible challenges. Possible challenges, failure of the seeds to grow, lack of funds, occurrence of calamities, and disaffiliation of the participants. Disaffiliation of the participants, like yung hindi pag-cooperate ng mga napili naming residents, tapos hindi nila pag-attend sa seminars, ganun po. Indicators of success, increased source of livelihood, a better activity or source of funds for unemployed people, decrease pollution within the community, sustain the daily needs of people in the community. Sa increased source of livelihood, syempre, we all know that not all the residents of a barangay in a city is doesn't have the natural source of their food, like yung mga farming sa kanilang backyards, mga gardens po. And dito sa a better activity or source of funds for unemployed people, kumbaga ito yung magiging nila habang wala pa silang stable jobs. And maganda rin to dun sa mga halimbawa sa mga ex-convicts, parang rehabilitation activity na rin to para sa kanila. Decreased pollution within the community. Siyempre, nakatulong din, di ba, yung pagtanim ng mga crops or plants para ma-refresh or malinis yung air sa ating society. Sustain the daily needs of people in the community. Yun nga, para madagdagan yung source of food nila. Tapos, hindi sila masyado mag-rely sa other foods like yung meats kasi it can also lead to some disease kung palaging meats na lang yung kinakain nila. So, these are the contact persons. Yan lang po. Thank you. Questions po? Are there any questions?
I think you need to coordinate.
Yes, sir. We will do that, sir. Other questions po?
Yes, please. Come up if you have a question. Does it like? In the back?
Hello po. Sabi niyo po magtuturo kayo about organic farming. So, kayo po yung magtuturo?
As we said on the report, maghanap kami ng experienced farmers para maging speakers din sa mga respondents namin para sa proper way of farming.
Actually, that was my point. Yung expertise, nasa saan? Nasa lugar. Yes, you just need to coordinate and collaborate
So, mas maganda to kasi this will be a collaboration.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Organic farming, that's your title. Organic farming, urban gardening is the answer. Our suggestion here is you drop the phrase organic gardening is the answer. How about organic farming, colon, then greening communities for health and peace? Because you are straddling two issues here, food belongs to health and peace. So how about organic farming, greening communities for health and peace?
But I think one thing also, supports the project naman po siguro, yung aim naman po.
If you want the title as it.
But we can also, yes, ma'am.
I'm from the College of Agriculture and Forestry. You're talking about organic farming. Suggest ko lang, why not implement it in the rural area? Kasi mahirap lang i-implement sa urban area.
Yun nga yung parang aim ng project namin para kumbaga kasi di ba sa ibang urban it was the aim of our project to build an organic farm within the community, because as our group knows, in Bitacno they have gulayan sa barangay, and we can also improve that and give other strategies or ideas that can make our project better.
For clarification lang po, kasi for number of participants niyo, contains 30, and kasama doon ang barangay officials community, and nabanggit niyo ang junior peace advocates. So, ang department natin is composed of 87 students, and ano ang meaning niyo doon sa junior peace advocates? We are all peace advocates, right? So, ano meaning niyo? Officers or ano? Kasi yung 50 participants niyo na ng peace advocates ba lang?
Yes, I'm sorry for that. Maybe we can make it just the officers, the junior peace advocates. Any other questions?
Good afternoon. I just would like to make a comment. First, I'd like to commend your group for coming up with this very good proposal, because I am one of those teachers who believe that organic farming is really what we need now. If you would want to go for increased food production, and at the same time, if you would like to help communities in peacekeeping, and then of course, peace building. My question is, who are your target beneficiaries for this proposal?
The target beneficiaries of our proposal is the residents in the rural area, yung may urban area.
You're saying urban.
Urban areas. Okay.
Yung mga alam ba po madam, nasa backyard nila may bakanting doon sila doon, pwede sila doon magtanim na mga gulayan, ganun.
Okay, so I suggest that you have to make the necessary coordination with barangay officials who will have to identify the residents who are willing to participate in this kind of activity. Because this is a very good program which could be replicated in any other communities if this one would be successful. And just like what Sir had said, it would be much better if you will have to coordinate with BU College of Agriculture because we have professors there who have the expertise to teach about organic farming, and they might be able to provide us also probably with the seeds that can be used for this activity.
So instead of experienced farmers, we just talk about the professors with expertise.
Yes, we have professors from UCAF who have the expertise in terms of organic farming. But of course, we welcome also the farmers who are willing to participate in this activity. So, congratulations. This is a very good proposal.
So, ang question ko lang po, di ba kanina sabi niyo mamimigay kayo ng mga seeds? And then yung...
English, please.
Like what you said a while ago, that you are really able to give a seeds to your respondents. And what kind of seeds, mostly, yung ibibigay niyo sa kanila, saan yun manggagaling?
Come from our sponsor like the city agricultural.
Anong klase ng seeds?
Like yung other vegetables like penchay, pumpkins, and like eggplants.
Vertical gardening. Yung vertical veg kayo.
Saan kayo pinaka? Have you been to Italy?
I'm from Italy.
Meron ba kayo doon sa yard?
That's what the project is trying to come up. Yung kumbaga, hindi lang po sa land, pwede rin po nilang gawin pwede rin po silang maglagay sa backyards nila or yung hindi po talaga totaling land, like yung sa mga paso. Hindi lang po sa farmers po.
It's a new English for me, thank you.
This will be a extension undertaking, right?
Yes po.
Okay. Yung farmers na sinasabi niyo, mas maganda meron doon. Partnership doon, right? Mas maganda siguro kung hanap tayo ng organization ng farmers.
Yes, sir.
Okay? And magagamit ko sila. Example, best practices nila. Right? Best practices and testimonies. Kailangan pa rin ng sa trainings, kailangan ng testimonies to inspire the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Other farmers in Italy? Other farmers in Italy?
Kind from other areas po. Pero the target area po ng project is the Bitan.
Any other comments? Yes, we have, please. And they're taking notes so they remember all these comments for the exam later.
How can you assure the sustainability of the plant? Since gardening, merong sa Bitan, no, there are some aspects na pwedeng maging, hindi maging effective yung plant.
It was stated there on the possible challenges, like the calamities. Well, as Dr. Mazer said, to be able to be youth peace ambassador, whether your project fails or success, you still report if your project will fail.
Okay, one more. Very active discussion here.
I'm just wondering, suppose I have a backyard and I will let you help me plant these organic vegetables and so on. What would be the percentage of sharing if of course, I'm just interested in the produced. So suppose they're already produced, would there be a percentage of sharing that I get to keep since you're using my backyard, and you get to keep also because you provided us with seeds?
Actually, no, we will not get anything from you. It will only just the community and kayo po, like in your backyards po, it is your choice whether you give others the crops you grow or whether you just grow it or yes, it's your choice po, whether you share it or not with the community.
Please, yeah.
Ay, ma'am. Pwede po. But it's still possible kung if you will share it in order to build this
No, it's because I have this thinking that this could also be an income generating project. So the produce can also be sold to the markets probably to earn some funds that can also be used by the community to further support this particular undertaking. Thank you.
Can I say something about that? Tama si Ma'am.
Yes, please, at the back. Yeah.
Extension undertaking. Kaya pa rin dapat isama nyo na sa plan nyo, the production part of it. Okay? Tama si Ma'am, right? Lahat, anyway, nasimulan nyo na, think of a bigger picture. Why don't you give livelihood to the resident? Right? Pero pagdating naman sa aspect na to, kailangan nyo na naman ng expertise na ibang college. Yung aming bahay nyo, the marketing aspect will be handled by si Ben. So always think of your partners.
So this will be a multi.
Yes, ang ganda niya. Kanino si Mong Ben. Yan ang natutunan ko kay Mong Ben.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, well, thank you very much. Good job. And looking forward to the produce.
And I am one of the ST councilors, and my partner is, she is appointed SK secretary. And this is our action plan. The title, Hope to Cope, Workshop Sessions for the Prevention of Depression. The Sustainable Development Goals, the good health and well-being. The proponents, typographical errors. It should be Sangguniang Kabataan ng Taysan only. The partner organizations were Taysan Barangay Council, Provincial Youth Development Organization, Young Men Christian Association, and the Youth Peace Ambassadors, YPA14 Action Plan. Participants are 50 youths of Barangay Taysan and the venue, Taysan Multipurpose Hall. The date and time, August 5, 2018 to November 18, 2018. It could be pwede siyang extend, it could be extended if this project or the first plan will be successful. It could be extended every second and last Sunday of the month from 1 to 5 p.m. Well, we come up with the time 1 to 5 p.m. and Sunday we made it Sunday since mostly and expected that students are free during Sundays, particularly in the afternoon. The fund source will be coming from Sangguniang Kabataan Development Fund, December Way Council, Provincial Youth Development Organization, and the Young Men Christian Association. So, we included the Young Men Christian Association and the Provincial Youth Development Organization since they are the organization that we could meet up and they are catering youths. That's why we included them, and we believe that they are also helpful in implementing this project. Rationale that will be.
Good afternoon. I am Rosalie Acevedo, the appointed SK Secretary of Barangay 56, Taysan, Legazpi City. So, according to Republic Act 8044, known as the Youth and Nation Building Act, the state declares that youth is the critical period in a person's growth and development. Furthermore, promotion and protection of the physical, moral, spiritual, intellectual, and social well-being of the youth to the end that the youth realize their potential for improving the quality of life is one of the bases for the programs on youth development. Today, depression is one of the most prevalent issues among the young ages. According to suicide organization, teen and adolescent suicides have continued to arise dramatically in recent years. It is the third leading cause of death for young people ages 15 to 24, and about 20% of all teens experience depression before they reach adulthood. As a leading youth organization of Barangay Taysan, it is intended to be the responsibility of Sangguniang Kabataan of Taysan to take an action in preventing the prevalence of the issue of depression among young ages. In connection with the foregoing, the said organization identified the need of conducting a project to help the young ages cope with their stress as well as to lead them towards self-development. And we come up with the general objectives. At the end of the project, the youths have understood the context of depression and gained the essential ways in handling stress, and with the specific objectives. At the end of the project, the youths are expected to comprehend the concept of depression. Second, identify the ways in coping with stress. Third, build harmonious relationship with other youths. And to identify the group as means of coping mechanism against stress. Next, have a sense of understanding towards themselves, to boost their self-esteem, and to inculcate in mind the importance of socializations with others. And for the project description.
The project aims the youth to understand the context of depression and gain the essential ways in handling stress. This project will be using two modes in its implementation. One is through virtual activity. The SK Council will be creating a Facebook page which will be used for posting and sharing motivational and inspirational quotes about depression. Yesterday it is one of the topics. I want to talk about technologies, and we come up with the idea that we can use it also as a tool for responding to the issue on depression. More so, the page allows the readers to comment, suggest, or recommend about their opinions. On the other hand, personality development activities will be using as another mode to implement the project. This will consist of using program media that are related to the development of the participants' personality. Furthermore, the program media consists of activities that build good relationship and communication with other participants. The participants came from different sitches of the barangay, and these activities will be facilitated by the SK Council of Barangay Taysan and also the volunteers. So what are the activities? First is the personality development activities. The expected output, the participants understand their dynamic self, and the person involved, Sangguniang Kabataan Council and volunteers, another activity, sharing of motivational and inspirational quotes about depression in Facebook page. The expected output, the youths of Barangay Taysan motivated and understand the concept of depression, and the person involved, the Sangguniang Kabataan Council. And the last one is discussion about the concept of depression. It is expected that the youth of Barangay Taysan understand the concept of depression, and the involved person, Sangguniang Kabataan Council, and resource speaker. The resource speakers, we decided that it could be psychologists, since they are knowledgeable and expertise nila to. These are the flow activities for personality development activities. Yung sinabi ko kanina na may session every Sunday. So ito yung nakapaloob doon. September 2, yung activities niya, first is the expectation setting. Of course, we should come up first with the expectation setting ng mga participants. And getting to know you. Next is self-esteem booster. Yung second activity na po yan. Third, shared self. Another activity for self-esteem booster and fostering socialization skills. And the last one is the team building activity. So why have we come up with these activities? And why are the persons involved are the youths like us? Since it is hard to confide, or mostly the youths are comfortable also to their co-youths to share their experiences. And also kung may problema sila, mas comfortable sila mag-share compared sa professionals. Like, professional, there is like gap. Siyempre merong merong gap, and mag-aanin naman sila to share their problems. And possible potential challenges, difficult to focus to the group work activities, distractions around the venue, not mature or open-minded to adapt crucial learnings or information. And the indicators of success, the personality of the participants were improved. Every participant has built relationships with others. The participants have boosted their self-esteem, have clearly understood the concept of depression, have identified the coping mechanism in handling stress, and ventilated their feelings and shared their experiences. And we come up with, sabi kasi kanin kahapon, think out of the box and make a creative way in presenting your action plan. And we made a poster which depicts na yung, ano ba yung project yung plan namin. So, nandito yung SK Council, we are the proponents. Nandito kami sa bangka, and the participants are the young ages. They are the, we believe that everyone experiences depression, or everyone has experienced stresses. Kaya nandito sila, yung mga participants. And the model, yun po yung gagamitin, yung mga means para matulungan sila. Facebook page, personal development activities, and the reflection of activities. That's it.
Your barangay captain happens to be a very proactive trainee. And I think Barangay Tyson needs that kind of project. I should know what is there.
The students coming from Barangay Tyson, they're really lucky because the leader, the local leader there happens to be a very forward-looking guy. So he walks his dogs and even puts money where his mouth is. And coming from Tyson, I used to live at the high school there. I should know that that kind of project is really needed by the young people of Tyson. So very nice.
Other comments or questions? They haven't been congratulated, they haven't passed yet.
Is that relating to strategies training and then social media? Yes. Okay, so you're reaching a lot of young people.
A lot of people, yeah. So is that one of the indicators of success, the number of people? Yeah, you have here some indicators. For the indicators, can I just borrow? For the indicators of success, the number of people is one of the indicators, a concrete number. Okay? That applies to everyone. Other comments or questions for them? Okay, please.
Good afternoon po. Ano po?
In English, please.
Clarification po. Ang naiintindihan ko kasi, yung action plan, your action plan is actually coping with depression, stress. Am I right? So, sabi niyo po, di ba, you will invite psychiatrists, psychologists. Suggestion lang po. Kasi sa CSSP po, meron pong organization with the peer counselor po to
cope up, to talk with our peers to cope up sa impressionist stress ko para ma-solve yung problem nila. So, yun po ang suggestion ko, why not collaborate with the peer counselor or mentor.
Thank you for your suggestion.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, Ate Christy. Ako nga po ay from Barangay 56 Taysan. And ano lang po, parang napapansin ko lang po mga SK counselor po kamo. Tapos more on, na-feel ko po, na napapansin ko po, is nag-focus lang kamo sa sentro. Di ko na kaya na-feel yung kami, mga purong
English, please.
Kaya ko lang po iluwas yung ano ko po, yung ano. Kasi po, yun mo po baga. Kasi napapansin ko po is yung mga karating ko pong purok. Compare mo po sa taguntong po baga, yun man ang po baga. Yun, sarap na po katawan.
You have to translate in English your question now.
Okay na.
Okay.
About your
What was the question? English?
is asking why usually the SK counselors or the SK council is focusing on center of the barangay.
Yes.
But since you're using social media, then you can easily reach me and
Yeah.
additional, we are having purok officers every purok, and the purok officers will be the representatives of the purok in order to disseminate information na madalian lang. And also, syempre, magkaroon din ng mawiden yung info na mabigay sa
Baka mo feel po ate, always late. Late po tayo makalis. Hindi ko kaya ta. May nangyari mo activity sa tayo.
Daily na lang yung tindahan, tiga-apot ako. Ba't ka mag-English?
Have a center of attention in many places to the center of the district and the periphery. The word is the periphery is often neglected. So you're trying to ensure the equitable distribution of access to resources and opportunity. If we believe in equality as an ethical principle, that's important. So some of the mechanisms you can use, they suggest like social media or other ways to bring in people. If we look in the distribution of most resources around the world, people in the cities or people in large areas are easy to reach, yes? But the people, to get the final 10% of people is the most expensive because it takes more time to reach to them because they may be disconnected from society in different ways. And one of the questions then is the instance of depression higher in these people who are excluded moderately? And sometimes it is because of neglected people. Sometimes. Okay, so if you're trying to solve human security issues to reach the vulnerable, the most depressed and the most suicidal members of society, for example, you may need to take the extra effort to get them. So how do we have an indicator? For example, we could include lower suicide rate. This could be a concrete indicator. Lower level of attempted suicide. So this may be a concrete indicator of the health, mental health of the community. Incidents of violence could also be. Violence is sometimes an indicator that people are not happy. Do you have any other comments? Ideas? Please, yeah. Behind you, is there another comment?
Actually po, it's not a question, it's clarification.
I'm not blaming her opinion, but as also I'm also an SK official, and one problem is that you can say that SK official or any SK barangay official only focuses on the center of the barangay, but because if the barangay or if the official asks a meeting, yung mga tao mismo yung walang pakialam or walang willingness. And first of all po, yung meeting, doon na pag-uusapan yung dapat gawin purok by purok. Kasi we also have purok officers in SK, and we also have official by every committee. And nahihirapan kami disseminate yung information pag yung kada tawag din, yung every, kumbaga yung parang tao sa barangay mo, wala rin pakialam sa'yo. Yung gano'n, yung kunyari magpapatawag ka ng meeting, hindi sila mag-a-attend. And pag yung program on action na, tapos sasabihin nila hindi sila part, kasi nga, wala sila ng meeting. Eh syempre, dapat andun ka para sa flow ng program, alam mo, at maging part ka. Yun po.
Thank you. Any reactions or comments? We have more translation as well. You should translate yourself.
I see this as a very interesting proposal, and of course very timely, especially for our young today who encounter a lot of issues about their lives, about their identities. So may I just ask, how did you choose? How will you choose these 50 participants to the activity? Are they young people who you have identified with depression problems already? Or are those youths you see as potentially maybe encountering depression? Or you see them possibly as, I link it with the observation a while ago by our friend over there, that these young people, after the training, bringing it to a higher plane, aside from obtaining service, that they would be elevated to a higher purpose, have themselves respond to a higher calling of being support groups for teens who may possibly encounter same issues within the community. So it's like service, then at the village level, institutionalizing sort of a psychosocial support group, because the problem may not just end to 50 young people, but more. And in that way, you could reach out to more young people that you wouldn't be charged of focusing your efforts only on the population, but spreading it out on the peripheries.
Yes, thank you so much. Actually, ma'am, yun po, yung iniisip ko rin po, ay mag-graduate of social work. Iniisip ko rin po, mag-form ng core group. Medyo, lang po kasi ganito lang po yung iniisip po muna namin. Kasi baka po masyado, hindi namin ma-attain yung ng core group and hindi namin ma-sustain. Pero ma'am, magandang thank you so much.
Get good, sorry.
In August 16, we will celebrate our fest in St. Roch.
In that, we're SK in partnership with Taysan Barangay Council and Bureau of Fire Protection, with Youth Peace Ambassador as partner organization, and entitled as Colors Splash Run on August 11, 2018, 2 p.m. at Santo Niño Subdivision to St. Roch Parish Church grounds.
The fun run is open to all interested people in our objective to involve a youth in celebration of the fest, to gather youth of the barangay, and to promote peace and camaraderie among the youth.
So after the fun run, There will be a short program for acknowledgement and awarding ceremony. And lastly, the final program will be the rain dance.
In our activity, arousal of conflict cannot be prevented because we were because we're or advanced thinker of what many challenges that we encountered. The first problem that we may encounter is shortage of budget that
Of course, shortage of budget because some materials that we need in our activity is not very expensive, but we need money to buy that materials. So second, the safety of the road.
then the safety of the road. Then we will invite the participant to.
So safety of the road. Because we know we will use roads. So we know that roads or street has many cars, motorcycles that like dumadaan doon. So we need a security to secure the participants that they will nothing happen incident in the activity. So second, lack of human resource. So as we know that if there's fun run or activity like this, we have to, let's say, the starting point and the finish line. So the starting point is very far from the finish line. So we need to divide the SK to divide into two, but the SK is only 10 and 5 each point is not very can occupy the participants. So we need some human source. And our also challenges is how we will invite the participants. So as Ate said that he said that SK just focusing in this centro that she said, but the problem the main problem we encountered is how we invite the participants far from the centro.
And we will use the social media as a tool.
So to invite participants, we will use the social media so they para malaman nila yung activity. Then we need the participation of CPAC for the safety of the participants. Again, as I said that the road is very dangerous for the participant kasi there's so many vehicles na dumadaan doon. So we need support of police so they will they assist the participant. And we need also the participation of trees and the organization because like I said, SK has only 10 SK officials. So we need the participation of trees and because trees and has 20 officers. So if we divide it into two, plus to the officers of SK, malaki-laki na yan. There will be a good manpower na. And That's it. So if you think that what is the connection of this event to the peace? It connects into this activity unites the community as one, and we believe that if the community unites as one, then this is the beginning of peace. That's all. Thank you. Any questions?
Marshal for security, that the people can marshal the event, then I suggest that you write a formal letter to the police. They will not fail to respond to your request for security.
Nag-start na po kami for letter to give letter to the police so we can ask their participation. Any question?
You see about the fun run?
Yes, sir.
What about the prices?
The prices? The prices is not very high. Just because the main goal of this activity is just for fun. So we put price so para mainggan in English.
Finishers, they get the souvenirs.
Yes. So, para tuloy nila yung end point. Kasi kung di nila katapusin, useless fun lang.
How many kilometers?
How kilometers? How far?
How far?
3 kilometers lang po. 3 kilometers. From Oriental, sa Santo Niño subdivision, sa Oriental po. From Oriental to Taysay, Central. So, harsh doon.
I have a suggestion. Why don't you tap one business establishment? They will donate t-shirts for the runners, but emblazoned with the name of the organization. They would love that.
Okay, actually, you don't have a lot of problem. As to the peace and security, you can make use of the local barangay police or the town policemen or the barangay tanods, and you can ask for help from other government agencies. So that you can get more participants, it would be more fun if you can give prizes. I think they would like to join if there are prizes.
There's a prizes po.
But as you said, they're not very sufficient. So you can, actually there are a great number of agencies who can help you. You can ask your teacher. Okay?
For the prizes, there will be games, or we're just thinking in the program, maybe there will be games for the participants will enjoy the program. And for Ma'am Lassie, the second question.
We did it in Arimbay High School wherein we tapped the Minola. So they agreed to give t-shirts to the athletes. Provided their name, the company name is emblazoned on the t-shirt. So you ask them and then allow them to make the design on the t-shirt emblazoned with their name. Kaya may Minola oil dito. Okay? Halimbawa,
I think you can tap the radio stations, make them as sponsors to the organization. They won't give money, but they will advertise. And more people will join.
Thank you very much for your offer. And Ma'am Lassie, thank you for your suggestion. We will do it. If we want.
provide them with a design for the t-shirt na mayroon ng pangalan ng company.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any comments or suggestions for them?
Any questions?
This will be our action plan. Strength has no gender. When we say about gender, this is not just about women and men, but also the LGBTQ people. Kasi yung women and men is only, female and male is only for the term sex. So, but for today, because we are in a patriarchal society, we are going to discuss about women empowerment. So this is our problem statement. Society has stamped an image into the minds of people of how the role of gender should be played out. There are two types of gender that is recognized and is accepted by the majority of the society. However, there are so many types of gender roles a man or a woman may assume or be placed into by society. So this is what we call gender stereotypes. The ideas of how one should act and behave are oftentimes ascribed by their gender by society. But these ascribed statuses and roles are sometimes unwelcome, and people will assume who they want to be as individuals by going against the stereotypes set forth by society. Gender inequalities are still deep-rooted in every society. Women suffer from lack of access to decent work and face occupational segregation and gender wage gaps. In many situations, they are denied access to basic education and healthcare and are victims of violence and discrimination. They are underrepresented in political and economic decision-making processes. Women are still paid less, or female bosses are still in the minority, and motherhood still carries the risk of total career derailment. Studies have shown that women shoulder most of the burden of housework and family care, even if they work as many employed hours as their partner. So our idea came from the Sustainable Development Goal number 5, which was gender equality. And Earl will report about this.
This project proposal support NGO because Bicol University adopted the agency Bicol University Gender and Development BU GAD. Gender and Development is a national program that was adopted by the Bicol University to promote gender equality and development. Bicol University Gender and Development is the agency inside of the Bicol University where it prepares plans, programs, and budget in response to gender issues. Bicol University GAD also helps in promoting women empowerment and gender equality outside of the university. Bicol University Vision. National policy that supports this project proposal. From the 1987 Philippine Constitution, Section 40, the state shall protect women providing safe and healthful working conditions, taking into their account material functions and such facilities and opportunities that will enhance their welfare and enable them to realize their full potential. And Republic Act 9710 series of 2009, an act providing for the Magna Carta of Women. Philippine Commission on Women, or PCW, Memorandum Circular number 2011-101, guidelines for the creation, strengthening, and institutionalization of the Gender and Development Guide, 2.26.
So we have objectives which are to develop sustainable and realistic attitude, no white under gender. Next is challenge and minimize or eliminate stereotypical perceptions and actions towards the other gender. And third is to accept and support those career and life choices made by peers, even if they challenge gender roles and stereotypes. And fourth is have student and consider all points of view. And fifth is change the gender in race bias language used in everyday life to a race and gender neutral language. And the last is challenge others to use gender and race and neutral language. And the objective of the activity. First is gender equal division of power and influencing, gender equal education, gender equal health, and men's violence against women, Islam, and last is economic gender equality.
This will be the activities that will be conducted in the one-day. First will be the video presentation, then the lectures and react and share. Later on, I'll explain what react and share is. Then the part 1 is the video presentation. The video will show about the importance of equal opportunities for all gender and comprehensive gender violence. Then in the lectures, this will be the topics that will be discussed. Importance of equal opportunities for gender equality. Why is it hard to be a woman? What women get that women don't? What is gender gap and why does it still exist? Know your rights as a woman. As millennials, social media is one of the biggest part of their existence. As what was discussed kahapon, di ba, yung importance ng social media. So why don't we use it to have a better purpose? As part of the activity, the knowledge that was integrated from all the lectures and presentations that were discussed will be cited in a post that will be constructed by the students. And they will share it through social media so they can express their thoughts about gender equality, and at the same time, the netizens will be educated through their post. As what Dr. Maser stated yesterday, that we cannot depend this kind of activities in the institutions, so we should start from ourselves. And we can use social media in transforming something to be better. Let's touch people's lives we can touch people's lives in so many ways. And this is just one of the example. So as a youth, what do you think you can do? There are so many problems in the Philippines or in the whole world, yet this is the reality that we cannot solve the problem all at once. So as a youth, all I can say is be part of the solution, don't be part of the problem. So these are the potential challenges that may be encountered in achieving this agenda.
The number one challenge is building the sustainability and resilience of race-related and gender equality. Number 2, perception that gender equality work is not required for denial. Number 3, conviction that commitment to merit and/or excellence negates the need for gender equality work and gender equality brand. Lack of understanding equality and/or a gender equality brand. And the last is resistance.
Indicators.
So these are the indicators of success. Women's sense of self-worth. Women's right to have determined choices. Women's right to have access to opportunities and resources. The ability in influencing the direction of social change to create a more just social and economic order, nationally and internationally. When the society's respect for women is visible and that is increased in the women's employment. The funding requirements.
This is for the funding requirements or the budgetary requirement. For the For the foods and the materials and supplies that will be used in the activity, it will come from the sponsorships. Then from the tokens and contingency fund, it will be from the IDP or the income generating project. So yeah, that's all. And the proposed.
Thank you very much. Do we have any comments or questions for them? Yes, many, I think. Who would like to ask questions first? Is the title okay, madam? Any comments on content? Nobody has any problems? Yes, Lily, please.
You can ask funding from the GAD office of
Bicol University. You confer with Professor Elaine Salazar.
From what? From the government.
Yes.
Radio.
Okay, other comments? Any other suggestions or comments? Would you support their program?
Yes.
Yes? Looking good? I just want to give you also just a comment. Please note, although I think it's common, as we talked yesterday about Facebook, that you're used to sharing information. Yeah? So these action plans, when you give me the action plan, we'll be putting onto the web under the Youth Peace Ambassador 14 Training Workshop, YPA14, list of action plans. So anyone can click on the link and get your file. So in case you don't want your telephone number and email on the web, don't give it to me in the file. Okay? But if some cool guy wants to put his telephone number on the internet, maybe it's good. Yeah? No problem. Yeah? That's right. So people may contact you. And of course, as we had discussed yesterday about privacy and security, always be very cautious about people contacting you on the web. Because anybody can see the action plan and see that you're at this workshop, that they may not be always trying to do something for good. So just always be mature about this. But I think the plan is good, and good luck on finding the funding. One point about their funding. Is it very optimistic to have this at the end? So isn't this an optimistic funding line? It suggests you'll get funding forever. Yeah, is that good? Would you like that? Good, why not? Okay, so thank you very much. I think it's good.
Lawrence Gerda from BAPS, Bachelor of Arts in Peace Studies. And here I am with my group mate. Hello everyone, my name is Steve Justin Avea from BAPS. So our project proposal, our action plan is entitled Health and Well-being, Nurturing Kids through Teacher and Parent Collaboration. And our tagline, Arise with Akno. Executive summary. Along with the objectives of the program in highly developing Sorry. Bachelor of Arts in Peace Studies is a course is required at all in the country through cultivation of students to serve as a youth peace ambassadors. YPA and the board to fulfill one of the sustainable SDGs to achieving good health and well-being in the community. It's what we chose out of all the 17 SDGs, the good health and well-being. This global goal specifies in ensuring healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. It consists of targets, including preventing deaths of children, reducing maternal mortality, fighting communicable diseases, treatment of substance abuse, reproductive health, education, pollution reduction, excessive medicines and vaccines, and considering all aspects of health. Along with the objectives of the program, we have in developing pupils with the nourishment of their holistic health. The YPA are furthermore to acquaint parents on how to nurture their children through symposium regarding their mental, emotional, and physical health. Moreover, providing amendments to staggering cases of malnutrition through rendering vegetables that can help the parents, teachers, in making fresh food a part of the daily feeding program. You might think that this has no connection of peace promotion, but you know, when this country is suffering in structural violence, when the social institution is depriving the people from experiencing basic needs, the government is withholding them from their rights. So we as the YPA, we are supervising this program to supplement the third goal into the development of a healthy and well society. President Rodrigo Duterte signed the Masustansiyang Pagkain para sa Batang Pilipino Act on June 20, 2018. In connection with this, Arise Pitano project aims to end undernourished children ages 3 to 5 through the provision of at least one nutritious meal qualified on the standards of government. So this is our problem statement. This one I've said, good health and well-being is one of the biggest matters that needs to be given much importance nowadays. There are some organizations that conduct programs to lessen these cases. It's good to know that death cases have been reduced. Yes, knowing that death cases have been reduced is good to know because we are able to fight this case, although it may seem overwhelming in this country. There are cases where street children are rampant and the government is doing progress, but it's not enough in solving those cases. So this kind of progress has been implemented throughout the Philippines due to poverty and lack of basic necessities, and the children of good health and well-being. Because of this, we made a stand to contribute in this issue in order to lessen children that suffer from bad health and well-being. Lately, many cases around the world, especially here in our country, were reported about that due to health management. Part of our proper statement from UN, they said over 16,000 children under 5 years old die every day, mainly from malnourishment, dehydration, and preventable diseases. This is something that all of us are involved because health is being discussed, and each one of us should be aware of these kind of issues. Many children around the country suffer from malnourishment due to lack of nutrients that they need. Many people are as fortunate as when they cannot afford to buy food for their family and awareness about proper nutrition. It's connected in poverty. So we are planning to get some funds from different sources and sponsors. We hope someone will donate. And these are the objectives. Number 1, acquaint parents how to nurture their children about substantial mental, emotional, and physical health of their children. So it's all about holistic health, all the aspects. To demonstrate how to plant and produce fresh vegetables inside the store and in their home. So we will need to teach them how to cultivate plants in order to not just to nourish the children, but they will also learn how to be a good farmer. Distribute the supply of seeds of different vegetables that could be the source of their feeding programs. All the hope of the country to become strong, not just in physical but also in mental and emotional aspect.
So our funding requirements goes like this. The particulars, not during seminar for parents, 5 meetings. It costs 17,450 pesos times 5 is equal to 87,250 pesos per month. And fund sources are disability and LGUs investment. Number 2, the vegetable seeds or packing. It costs 10,000 pesos. The fund sources is the Municipal Agriculture Office. And the activities.
So this is our activities. First, administer a meeting with the wider bodies. And expected output, prepare the specific action plan for the target elementary students. Person involved, help provider, bodies, and advisor. Second one is conduct an appointment with LUs, VU student council, and other department officers. Expected output, demonstration and discussion of the programs. Person involved, LUs, VU student council, department officer, Ms. Rowena Zoilo. Our timeline, September 17, 2018, we will discuss the target activities with Bicol University, Student Council, and advisor of the Senate project. October 1 to 12, 2018, meeting with the target sponsor. October 15, 2018, finalization of action plan. June 3, 2019, on that day, the YPA representative will discuss how the parents and teacher will guide the kids how to conquer the emotional and mental problems. On June 17, 19, 2019, second day of program. In this program, the YPA representative will demonstrate how to plant and make a gulayan or garden inside the school as long as in their home. June 24, 2019. Distribution of vegetable seeds and starting to plant the seed in the vacant space in the school premises. July 1, 2019, orientation for all the parents how to nurture the kids through discussing the benefits of eating fresh and nutritious food every day. August 20, 2019, sharing and collaboration with children and their parents. August 21, 2019, transferring program with school faculty members. Lastly, June 4, 2020, inventory.
These are the potential challenges, consistency of the number of parents that attend the meeting, and the loyalty and responsibility. Conclusion. So we'll be conducting a seminar for the parents in cooperation with the teachers, inculcating them the practice of preparing nutritious foods, maintaining well-being through a healthy lifestyle, how to nurture their children, how to handle the stress around the environment like depression and bullying. Throughout the seminar, we will admonish the parents to provide proper choices of food to sustain nourishment to the children, not just physically but also mentally and emotionally. In addition, we will utilize funds in order to purchase a vegetable seed to help the parents and teacher to get these expenses during their completed feeding program and to make sure that the food intervention are well. So that's the procedure, get funds from all sources, collaborate with the coordinating principal, and conduct observation. This is the documentation, the asset for linkages. So actually there are more linkages than this one. Just that the other logos were not get lately. So that's it. These are the contact persons. May I call on our roommates to come here in front.
Group mates, where are you?
Okay, any questions or comments, suggestions, fun reactions?
And so the group mates who were not on stage will answer the questions. Please.
Good afternoon. This is a very good initiative on your part to improve the health and well-being of the children. Because of course nowadays we know that there are so many undernourished and malnourished children. Now the way I understand your proposal, it's made up of 3 parts. The first one is you're going to distribute seeds. Okay. Of course, you may get the seeds from sponsors. And then after that, you're going to have an orientation activity participated in by parents on the importance of nutrition, right?
Not just in physical, but also in mental and emotional health.
Okay, physical, mental, and emotional health, which is the result of good nutrition, providing good nutrition to the children. And then the third one is the feeding program.
Since feeding programs are very updated in different schools, so we get a plan that can give vegetable seeds that can give yun po yung ano ma'am, yung parang kukunan, yun po yung magbibigay sa kanila ng ano, ng, para hindi po sila masyadong magastusan. Yung 6 po na yun na po yung ibibigay namin sa mga parents and teachers para po yung pagkain po na ibibigay, pagkain po na provide para sa feeding program, doon na lang po sila kukuha para pa hindi na po siya masyadong magastusan.
Okay, yes. But you can still make it a component of your proposal so that after providing orientation on the parents on good nutrition, they can now participate in the feeding program. For example, the parents in the participating communities might be invited to be the ones to prepare the food that will be distributed or eaten by the children.
As I observe, every parents of the malnourished teachers, malnourished students, yung parents po nila, yun po yung nagluluto talaga.
So, that's very good. If the parents will have to be involved in that activity. Because these are 3 to 5 years old children, right? And they are still under the care of their parents. Okay, so parents should be informed of good nutrition, and at the same time, they have to be taught how to properly prepare good food for their children.
Okay, so this is just a suggestion. The project that you are making is what I call cut and dry. So I think we can just give it a little of excitement by tweaking it a bit. For example, if you're going to ask the parents or the moms to plant vegetables, am I right? Okay, so how about adding inspirational or meditative signages to their garden? I need to say every day they visit the garden, they say inspiring messages. So you come up with signages so that, for example, you can use the Bible to pick out beautiful passages from it. So every day you nourish their emotions in their mind, in their spirit, and that will give them the impulse to take care of the plants. Do you think it would work?
Thank you for the suggestion, ma'am. Actually, we put high regards to their mental health. So
That's
we,
why, that's the one thing, put up those inspiring signages.
yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Other comments or questions? Any other comments? Yes, please, come up. Thank you. Please, I'll give you this mic. Come here.
I'm from College of Medicine. My comment is on the aspect of water and health sanitation. Maybe it would be better if you'll also include it in your project, since nutrition naman doesn't just exist on the food that we eat, but moreover on the water that the kids will also intake. So might as well include it, include the water and sanitation, water and the WASH program. I forgot the name of WASH. Basta it's more of the sanitation of water, and yun. Basta maybe you can include it na lang para mas holistic din yung sa health aspect that you will exhibit on your life.
Yes, good idea. Other comments or questions? Yes, please.
I just noticed under the funding requirements that there's still something about feeding and sources, the SWD. I know that you understand that the SWD is not funding directly because funds are already given to the daycare associations, and it's already been downloaded to local government units. So since there's already an assumption that you know the fact that the money is already with the daycare association, and they are already implementing the feeding program, and it just been mentioned in your information about the project that there's already an existing intervention to your target population, and that they're already getting it from the agency government. Huwag na lang not to reflect it anymore under the funding requirements.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Then we stand corrected. So now we know that this W is not included in funding numbers. But we will not disregard you. This W will surely be. We will be collaborating with us.
Yes, I understand that there's already an understanding from your team that the feeding program is already existing. So kasi it's a bit misleading. A reader would still interpret it as the DSWD will be the source for the snacks for parents, but we are not funding objects like that, but we directly grant it to the benefits.
Thank you, ma'am, for the clarification.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so thank you.
We are the Bachelor of Arts Speaking English Studies students from Bicol University. So our project proposal is about sustainable cities and communities. The members are Rufa May Flores, Jocelyn Hilario, Dayan May Sarmiento, me, Victor Alex Tulivio, and Mr. Hera Kenas Bandaan. Follow statement. This is one for Benson.
So our problem statement is about is a growing population is going to raise the data. That's why waste is one of the problems in our community. So instead of considering pregnancy problem, why not we consider it as an opportunity or a way to help people, especially in the environment. So in that case, we conduct this community project not just to lessen the waste, but also to help people in urban areas and be good practice for others to replicate. So with this project, we make new and valuable things out of nothing. And as I
as I said, nothing, it means trash. Trash that we see everywhere and we just ignoring it. So, instead of ignoring it, bakit po hindi na lang natin gawin na kapakipakinabang yung mga basura lang na nakikita natin sa paligid natin. So, Barangay Bitata is a well-known place here in Legazpi City because it's surrounded by schools just like the Bitata Elementary School and infrastructure like the city terminal, city mall, and some chain of hotels. So we all know that these buildings produce many trash. So because of this, there are advantages with regards to waste management. In fact, this advantage can be advantage in connection to our project, the Trash and Cash. So the other objectives of our project is not just by helping the community, the schools, the people, the environment, but also to preserve the environment to the people in the future.
The introduction is millions of people, yet there are billions of trash. Plastic bottles, used straw, old newspaper, and other things we considered waste can help actually people in many ways. Why don't we make new things out of these old things? Recycling trash is an activity where we make something new from something that has been used before. We can actually make money out of it. With the use of this money, we can indeed help people. Recycling trash also contributes to have a cleaner community and unpolluted surroundings. Those trash that once were wasted will now be used to provide new and fresher environment. According to the Republic of the Philippines under Republic Act number 9003, or the so-called Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000, or ESWM. It is an act of creating or providing a necessary institutional mechanism and incentives declaring certain acts prohibited and providing penalties, appropriating funds, therefore, and for other purposes. Because of this law, the safety of the environment is now on top, just like the proper segregation, collection, transport, storage, treatment, and disposal of solid waste through the formation and adoption of the best environmental practice in ecological. Because of this law, the City of Legazpi have been implementing a City Ordinance number 0017, which also aim to improve the living condition of the people through proper environmental management.
So, we have put the university mission vision. And also the mission vision of our Department of Business Studies. So, objectives.
So the objectives of our project proposal is for the children to acquire knowledge, values, attitudes, and skills needed on solid waste management. So it's for the children to know how to segregate and have a proper attitude on when they have waste and on how to segregate it properly. Number 2, use recyclable materials to produce products. And to come up with a recycling program for entrepreneurship. And last, conduct orientation aimed to make progress in Bitano Elementary School and to teach them how to make use of trash.
So these are the activities for our project proposal. The first one is conducting a meeting with all the barangay officials of Bitano, Legazpi City, and the principal of Bitano, Legazpi City. So the expected output that we have been discussing the program. I discussed the program that we do with the group and having a brainstorming or suggestions with regards and what things or other activities they want to add in the program. Also, preparing the project proposal for the approval and implementation. The persons involved in this is the SK officials, barangay officials, the members of the group, principal, and faculty of Bitano Elementary School. The second one is solid waste management presentation. The expected output for this is handheld material distributed to provide convenient tabs for daily use. Persons involved, the members of the group, SK officials, and students. The activity 3 is creative use activity. The expected output is all the artwork will be displayed in the Eco Art Gallery, and whoever have the most creative pieces will have prizes. Persons involved are elementary students of Bitano Elementary School. The school awareness and campaigns for activity, and the expected output will be footage of the project activities will be made available by flyers and will be shared to the students for increased awareness of the project benefit, and also to encourage other persons to join our group. Persons involved are school faculty members, students, and parents. The fifth one is educational material for the children. The expected output will be children will be much more aware of the environmental problems and how to resolve this. Persons involved are the members of the group, students of Bitano and of Bitano Elementary School. The sixth one is giving some educational supplies for the children. Expected outputs will be the fund that we gather under recycled trash and waste will have the children to have some things that will be used for their study. Persons involved are the members of the group and students. The last one is donating a waste material recovery facility to segregate, and the expected output will be to segregate the trash properly and for the children to be aware on how or where to throw or put their trash in right or designated place. Persons involved are students, and this is the last one of activity. This is the timeline for the activities.
The timeline for the activities, on day 1, session 1, we'll be conducting a meeting to present our project, and also if they have an idea, thought, and opinion that they can share to us about our project. There is a suggestion from the barangay official and faculty member, and it could be help us and our project. We will revise it or edit it if our proposal is okay for them. We will be asking for the barangay official for the approval and implement our project. Number 2, preparing all the needed tools and materials in conducting this project. Number 3, implementing of the project. Number 4, solid waste management presentation seminar.
So, these are the activities that we have put in, and we have the schedules for all of the activities we need to do. That is the activities. The potential challenges that we have will be lack of funds and participants to support our project and materials. The funding requirements that we have requirements will be this time. Estimated amount will be 5,000 because it will be 50 pesos per student. Also, the workshop materials will be 5,000 for the tools and equipment. Educational supply will be 10,000 and it will be 100 pesos per children. The total is 28,000. This is the budget. Members. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there some questions or suggestions, please? Did they do a good job?
Yes.
So you approve? Please, we have a question here. Thank you.
What if the barangay officials didn't approve your
Please repeat again. Could you answer? I couldn't hear.
what if the barangay officials didn't approve your project proposal?
So we are going to wait for the approval for the principal or the school of Binang Elementary School so that we can mapaliit lang yung hindi na maging barangay, yung school na lang. So isa lang ang magiging focus na.
Your colleagues in Extension know that she's listening carefully. And we will also have to assume that the community approves our project. Spread out, I want to see everybody. And look at the audience, not me. So we need the approval, perhaps, of the administration of a local authority. Sometimes we need approval of the district or provincial authority, depending on the sensitivity of your work. Okay? So it's always better to go and speak to people and get officials. Fortunately, the university has existing arrangements with certain localities, and also maybe is treated very favorably by most people around the area. But the reason it's treated favorably is because it hasn't caused a great deal of harm to date. So as we get more people involved in community extension work, we have to ensure that you don't do any harm. Okay? That there's no big problem as well. Because sometimes the risk of doing something is that you may have something risky. And for example, the municipal rubbish collection is a political issue in some areas, I think, because people are not happy with the collection of rubbish. I know in Save City I have several PhD students working on the subject of waste. And they said they have to wait for 6 weeks to get the rubbish cleared from their house. They said that the rubbish truck, when it's full, goes to the rubbish dump in Cebu and waits for 8 hours in a queue of rubbish trucks to empty its rubbish. So it's total mismanagement. I don't know, I hope it's better here. But this is something that we need to work as well. So, thank you very much. Very important.
Thank you, sir.
So, therefore, this is a need to find alternative way to produce food in affordable, safe, easy way through urban gardening. Activity: training workshop on urban gardening. Objectives: to build awareness on the importance of urban gardening, to provide technical knowledge in urban gardening, to encourage the community to engage in urban gardening, to ensure their own produce and market surplus. So, Our objectives focused on urban people or urban communities. And the target participants are selected white housewives or of 4Ps Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program beneficiaries in urban areas of Ginobatan, Albay. 30 participants per session. Kasi po, nung gumawa kami ng extension work, we always focus to people who wants to alleviate their life. Yung mga tao pong naghahanap kung paano sila makakakain ng masustansya, hindi mapresyo, hindi siya costly. Tapos, we always want, diba, to ensure our health, ourselves. So, through this project, ipopropose namin sa kanila na hindi po hadlang na nasa urban area kayo, hindi na kayo pwedeng kumain ng masustansya at safe na pagkain. So, paano po yung gagawin? Diba po sa urban area, we have limited space. So, for limited space, ang counterpart namin is urban gardening. Mamaya po, tatakal namin yung different parts of urban gardening. So, 30 participants per session. Kasi kada session namin is iba-ibang participants. Para namin lahat. So,
activities. Activities. Meeting with department-based organizations to prepare proposal and to identify the committee for the seminar workshop and the budgetary requirement. Schedule is alternative. July 31, 2018. Persons, organization, agencies involved, CSE and DBOs. CSE means College Student Council and DBOs is departmental-based organizations. Meeting with Mayor, MSWDO, DA, Ginobatan, and ATI to present the proposal and to seek their assistance in the implementation of the training workshop and determine the participants of. August 21, the budget is 500 pesos for snacks. CSC, DA, MSWD, LGU, Ginobatan, ATI. Conduct training workshop on vertical gardening. So I will give you the short definition of vertical gardening. It's nothing more than using vertical space to grow vegetables, often using containers that hang on a sunny wall. Aquaponics refers to any system that combines conventional aquaculture with hydroponics in a symbiotic environment. So this is a combination of aquarium and the top is the plants. Aeroponics. Aeroponics is the process of growing plants in an air or mist environment without use of soil or an aggregate medium. So, kung nakahang lang siya, continuous na siya nag-grow. Hydroponics is a subset of hydroculture, the method of growing plants without soil using mineral nutrient solutions in a water solvent. So, yung namin siya, may aquarium sa baba, which means nandun yung nutrient, infiltration siya. Tapos, gumagamit siya ng pump para tumaas siya sa... So, pwede siyang raw materials like PVC pipe, styrofoam, pwede na siya mag-grow.
So, yung vertical gardening po, yan po yung karamihan nating alam, yung vertical gardening. Kasi kahit limited space, pwede na tayo doon mag-garden, even edible or yung mga flowers po. And indicators of success, number of participants, when they are able to come up with their own urban gardening using their knowledge and skills provided in the training. Challenges, willingness to participate to learn, source of funding, knowledge of the participants in the farming. Ito pong knowledge of the participants in farming, ito po talaga yung number one na na-encounter namin once na nagkakanta kami ng extension work. Linkages, Bicol University College of Agriculture and Forestry, the local government of Kinobatan, Municipal Agriculture Office of Kinobatan, College Student Council of Buka, the College-Based Organization, and the Agricultural Training Institute, or the ETI.
Thank you po.
Any comments or suggestions? Any comments or suggestions? Yes, thank you.
You mentioned that the target participants are 40s beneficiaries. Okay, if the targets are beneficiaries of the Pantawid Pamilya Pilipino, it will be greatly appreciated. And the coordination will be through the municipality. And it's easier because you just have to adjust to their schedule because they have their monthly family development sessions. And you can engage with the municipality and see if your module or if the training you have is suited to the module that they will be discussing for the month. Or if not, they can just you can have an arrangement with them as to the schedule. No need for additional funds for that.
Any comments? That's okay, good idea. Any other comments or questions? So we had a lot of discussion before, and I think some of those comments relate to your work as well. Thank you very much. Good job, everyone. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. We are to present our project titled Break the Border, Give. So, this is our problem statement. Philippines has a huge number of street children roaming the streets. According to UNICEF, around 250,000 street children living on the streets after having run away from home or being abandoned. These street children scavenge and begging for food and causing trouble in society. They steal and they are being used to do some illegal crime by syndicates or even their parents. The major causes for children to take to the streets are poverty and large families, limited access to basic social services, breakdown of family structures. The immediate trigger is often physical or sexual abuse within the family. When these street children experience family problems, hunger, neglect, and domestic violence, they escape from their homes and live part-time or even full-time in the streets. Some are simply abandoned. So some of the most pressing challenges street children are facing include difficulties in maintaining basic health and accessing health services, but the most importantly is their lack of education. Living on the streets means they don't have anything such as the basic needs. They don't have a proper house to live in and money to sustain their foods in everyday living. In that case, these street children don't have the capability to go to school or study. They were just roaming the streets and focused on finding their foods to survive. Their life is always at risk that they don't think anymore of their future. We know that government can manage all these street children and provide the things that they needed. Their lack of attention, and while the population is growing, these street families are also growing. So according to 1987 Constitution, Article 14, Section 1, the state shall protect and promote the right of all the citizens to quality education at all levels and shall take appropriate steps to make such education accessible to all.
But in the reality, street children couldn't achieve their right to achieve the quality of education that they needed.
Objectives of the action plan. The specific objectives of the project are: first, to provide alternative learning center to educate about children's right and peace concept. Lastly, to motivate and inspire them to be a productive member of society. The mission vision of the Bicol University.
So the vision of Bicol University is a world-class university producing leaders and change agents for societal transformation and development. So here's the brief explanation of
the brief explanation of program. Break the Border, Give a Hand is a program built to initiate, design, and implement an effective teaching strategy targeted at the street children of Albay and Legazpi area. The strategic approaches will leverage with ongoing efforts of LGUs, DSWD, and other sponsors supporting this project in educating those street children about the importance of peace and their rights as a child. The project will build up strategies that is efficient and effective in disseminating knowledge about the concepts of peace and other matters that corresponds to the subject. This will provide ample information where they will be knowledgeable to avoid inequalities and discrimination in the society. In some way, this program will help to at least lessen their hunger and motivate them to think for their future, that they will not stay street children forever. Giving them hope is our priority. Also targeting those poor street children is the best thing to do. Motivating and inspiring them will help them to make their own goals where they will be sooner a productive member of the society.
So next are the funding requirements. Our overall funding requirement are 5,500 pesos. The fund sources. And the fund sources are NGO, Albay, SWD, DepEd, and volunteers. So the activities are here, so as you can see, and next.
So the activities is, first is the orientation about the concept of peace and the child's rights. And the expected output is knowledge and awareness to prevent abuse and violence. So in this, we want them to be knowledgeable enough so that they will not feel the discrimination about the education that we feel the normal people will say, and then the entertaining games. We want them to active participation and enjoyment. We want them to enjoy while the program is ongoing. And next is the beat. Satisfaction and full stop. And then open discussion, destroy the barrier and communicate freely. We want them to share their experiences, or as much as possible, we want them to get the proof that they are preventing them to communicate us. Next is distributing school supplies. Strengthen the capability to study and learn. So here's our potential challenges.
First is, it be hard to approach and invite street children or their parents to allow their child to join the program. So, we know that the street children afraid to go and to come with this WD, or because they may think that they will lack, or they will go to Bahay Ampunan, and so they may be afraid to join us, this program. And second is funding requirement. The program is not costly enough, but of course, we want them to have enough funding requirements so that our program is more developed, is more effective and successful. So the third is government agencies. We may hard to communicate or coordinate with them since they we have a process to follow, and there has programs and activities that we're doing, so you may encounter this. So our duration of the program is 3 months, March, April, May, 2015. There will be 2 sessions conducted per month, and we want the places, and we choose the places of Albay and Legazpi to conduct this program. So indicators of success. There will be 23 children participants in the program that will be conducted in a real learning center. Second, awareness of the street children about the rights and the peace concept. Third, inspired and motivated to be a productive member of society. Last, with the coordination of governments and agencies, the program will be implemented smoothly.
Questions and suggestions? Any questions or suggestions? Thank you. Happy and satisfied?
Very excited to be working with the SWs.
Good. You're lucky to have such good students. Okay? No questions or comments, anyone? None? Okay, good job. Thank you very much.
Arts and Peace Studies first year, and we will present our action plan entitled Camp for Rights, #Women First. I am Sarah Nara, and these are my group mates.
Hi, I'm Mian Saraos.
I'm Pia Prince Labordo, and I am Jinky Barano.
So, our program is Camp for Rights, #Women First. So, Women First, the word first is actually an acronym of our golden rule in this event. So,
fair treatment shall be practiced, injustice shall be abolished, rights for women must be upheld, solidarity must be propagated, and tranquil and serene living surely awaits.
So this is the problem statement. Violence against women, or VAW, appears as one of the country's pervasive social problems. According to the 2008 National Demographic and Health Survey conducted by the National Statistics Office, 1 in 5 Filipino women aged 15 to 49 has experienced physical violence since age 15. It is indeed alarming that despite efforts to address concern, VAW persists.
Barangay 37, Bitano, Legazpi City, as the target beneficiary of the extension programs of the Department of Peace Studies, is actually one of the barangay in the city with the most number of violence against women or VIW cases. In fact, it places third during the first quarter of 2017.
So this data is actually from Philippine National, from Legazpi City Police Station. I got this from the research we conducted during our senior high school, and unfortunately, di ko pa nahanap yung full na niya. So, with this, the students of Bachelor of Arts in Peace Studies in partnership with the Youth Peace Ambassadors International, Bicol University College of Social Sciences and Philosophy, Department of Peace Studies, Junior Peace Advocates, City Government of Legazpi, Bitano, Sangguniang Kabataan, and Barangay Council will be conducting a 2-day campaign for young women and youth leaders entitled Camp for Rights, #Women First, in March 2019 at Barangay 37, Bitano, Legazpi City. So, this activity aims to gather young women together with the youth leaders to educate them about violence against women or VOW. This also aims to empower women through various tasks and interesting activities.
So, this is the vision of Bicol University, which is a world-class university producing leaders and change agents for social transformation and development.
Our action plan objectives heighten the awareness of youth that violates against women, identify the importance of gaining knowledge about women's rights, educate youth about violence against women, and empower women through various activities.
So these are the activities of our project proposal. It's subdivided into 2 parts. So let me discuss the first part. First, conduct meetings with the Camp for Rights, #Women First proponents. And the expected output will be working on activity plan for women and youth leaders. Then the person involved are the Camp for Rights, #Women First proponent and Professor Rowena Zoilo. Then the timeline is July 2018. Next is conduct meetings with the Junior Peace Advocates, Peace Studies Department Head, BUC SSP Dean, and the other interested Bicol University faculties. Then the expected outputs will be presentation and discussion of the program, then the prepared project proposal for approval. Then the personnel involved are proponents of the project proposal, then the GPA officers, Peace Studies Department Head, Bicol University CSSP Dean, and the other involved BU faculties. Then number 3, meeting with the partners, agencies, and organizations. Then the expected output, discuss the program to the partner agencies. Then the personnel involved are the proponents and the partner agencies. Next, meeting with the all concerned personnel. The expected outputs will be the finalization of the flow of the activity, prepare the needed materials for the activity, then the personnel involved are the proponents, partner organizations, and other agencies. Then, last activity is the implementation, wherein the expected output will be the Camp for Rights. Then the proponents, the personnel involved are the proponents, partner agencies, organizations, and participants. So this is the flow of the camp program. So our proposal is, as what I said a while ago, is a camp. And so let me give you an overview of what will happen. So we will have lectures and we will have activities that surely the youth will enjoy. So we will divide the participants into sub-camps. That is what we do during our leadership trainings and campings in high school. And we will have lectures regarding the violence against women. So firstly, the understanding the concept, and as well as women's right, the discussion of women's right in international law, as well as the national policies that protect women. And then, so actually, we have here the flow of the program, and there are activities wherein you can find interesting names because that is what the youth want. So they will engage if the activity is interesting. So that's why we have a title like that. For example, There's Nothing Holding Me Back. Actually, it was a title of a song, but we make it as a title of the team building activity. So that aims to empower women. So budgetary requirements.
For the budgetary requirements, we have a particular meal for the snacks, breakfast, lunch, and dinner of the speakers, organizers, and participants with an amount of 25,000 pesos that's for 2 days. And fund sources, we have the income generating project, city government of Legazpi, Bitano Barangay Council Fund, and Sangguniang Kabataan Fund.
Potential challenges are loss of funding, competing priorities that might threaten the implementation of the program, availability of well-organized and secured venue, violence against women is a sensitive topic, failure to identify the specific needs of participants, especially that it is a camp and for 2 days. So indicators of success. So at least 50 young women and youth leaders participated in the camp. Good feedback from the participants. The estimated budget is properly spent and was enough for the whole activity. And lastly, the participants learned something from the lectures. So it is under the Sustainable Development Goal number 16, Peace, Justice, and Strong Institutions. So linkages, Bicol University College of Social Sciences and Philosophy, PUCSSP Peace Studies Department, City Government of Legazpi, Sangguniang Kabataan, and the Barangay Council of Bitano, Legazpi City, and the Youth Peace Ambassadors International. So these are the proponents, and that would be all. Thank you. Are there any questions?
What's the problem in Bitano? Potential challenges occur. I mean all. As in all of the
projector.
Hindi, all. All of us.
Hello. Well, we are the new generations, and in cases like that, well, we can say that we are innovative and what can I say? We are resourceful, so we can make ways for that, for our program to be possible in spite of those challenges. So we can always have an alternative. For example, if we cannot find funds, so there's always a way. You know, so if we really are if we really are determined to conduct this program, then we will make a way for sure.
And also, just like what Mr. Fisher said, that it is okay to fill an action plan. At least we tried that.
And any more suggestions po? We are actually hoping that someone will give suggestion for us for this program to be possible.
So what about violence against children?
Actually, sir, this is the Republic Act 9262 is the BAUC. So it is the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Act of 2004. But then, we know that it is a very broad topic, and we are just a student actually, and we cannot accommodate many participants if we will include the children and their parents and the young women. We think that we can't do that, so we will just focus on the women, especially young women. So if the young women and the youth leaders are aware, then they can also share their understandings and learnings so that so that they can also how can I say this? They can also share it to other people, and you know, when sharing, then it spreads. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good job. Yeah.
Is Project Bullying, Be Smart, Don't Start. The Sustainable Development Goal is peace, justice, and strong institutions. Problem statement. According to Jose Rizal, ang kabataan ay ang pag-asa ng bayan. Which means that the youth of the new generation is our hope to build a better community and society. But in our present situation, many teenagers are involved in some violent cases that causes their life to be miserable. Bullying. In the Philippines, bullying is a very common issue, especially inside the school. In the Philippines, 2 out of 10 children per day experience being made fun of, name-calling, and being made to do something she doesn't want to do. Since the statistics were quite alarming, this prompted the House of Representatives to approve a bill requiring elementary and secondary schools to include implement anti-bullying policies in their students. To monitor its effectivity, the schools are obligated to submit their report incidents to the DepEd. According to the Republic Act 10627, or the Anti-Bullying Act of 2013, was signed into law by former President Benigno Aquino III in September 6, 2013. The law requires all elementary and secondary schools in the country adopt an anti-bullying policy. According to a study conducted in 2008 by the Britain-based Plan International, 50% of school children in the Philippines experience bullying either by their teachers and their peers. So, Bengal University's mission to a more-sighted nation is rooted in Bengal University's mandate as provided in RA 5521, which is to give professional and technical training and provide advanced and specialized training to specialized instruction in literature, philosophy, and sciences and arts, besides providing for the promotion of scientific and technological researches. The Bengal University's vision, a world-class university producing leaders and change agents of social transformation and development.
So, these are the objectives of the action plan. To give further knowledge about the topics that we will discuss to the target beneficiaries. To widen the knowledge of the beneficiaries about bullying for them to avoid such things. To make sure that the beneficiaries will not just gain knowledge but also enjoy school. To fulfill the mission, vision, and goal of our institution. To make sure that the youth will be empowered agent of human society.
Okay, ways to prevent being bullied. So, according to WikiHow, bullying is a common problem in many schools. If you're worried about bullying, you may want to know how to prevent it. If you're the target of the bully, never feel like it's your fault. It's always the responsibility of the bully to not lash out at others. Still, there are some steps you can take to reduce the likelihood bullies will target you. Work on cultivating a calm and confident attitude that will repel bullies. Avoid areas in your school where bullies tend to congregate. If you end up encountering bullies anyway, talk to an adult about the problem. Bullying can have serious consequences if left unaddressed. So, different forms or types of bullying. According to National Center Against Bullying, there are many different types of bullying that can be experienced by children and adults alike. Some are obvious to spot while others can be more subtle. The different types of bullying that we look at below are some of the ways that bullying could be happening. So, the types are physical bullying, verbal bullying, social bullying, and cyberbullying.
How to stop bullying at school. School bullying is a type of bullying that occurs in any educational setting. For an act to be considered bullying, it must meet certain criteria. This includes hostile intent, imbalance of power, repetition, distress, and provocation. It is very common, especially to those who are victims of discrimination. At school, you cannot avoid bullying because it is like a nature to them. When you are acting powerless, the bullies will take the advantage to bully you. In some cases, family problems triggered some student to be a bully. The topics or activities. There will be a series of activities that we are planning to implement. We are planning to conduct a one-day seminar workshop activity. The roster of activity would be the following.
So the activities are meeting with the personnel involved. So wala ko pong date then. The target personnel respondents is the principal, faculty of the typographical po. So faculty of the target school. So our target school is Pitado Elementary School because it is the scope of the project of the Department of Peace Studies, where the title is Andurog sa Pag-andurog sa Tulinong. Then, meeting with our target sponsor, if ever. Then, topic 1. So, our target day is Saturday and we don't have some specific date. So, topic 1, discussion of ways to prevent being bullied. So, ways to prevent being bullied. So, inside the classroom, we will see some attached paper in the wall that titled Ways to be Bullied. Pero, minsan, hindi po sila binabasa. Parang dinadaan-daanan lang. So, kailangan dito sa project na to, we'll make them understand what is the importance of ways to prevent being bullied. Then icebreaker activity that maybe it is knowledgeable game or laro ng lahi, then or team building activity, then snack. So our target respondents will be grade 4, 5, and 6 of the target school. If there will be so many blocks or sections, we will just pick one section at grade 4, 5, and 6. Then topic 2, discussion of different types, forms of bullying. Then the same target. Then icebreaker activities, snacks. Topic 3, discussion of how to stop bullying at school. Then icebreaker activities, snack, the same target. Then funding requirements, so particulars, snack and lunch, estimated number of pupils, 60 or above because we are talking about grade 4, 5, and 6, then the amount will be 20,000 pesos. Then sources of fund will be the Department of Social Welfare and Development and other LGUs. Then materials and certificates, so we'll be putting 5,000. Then the sources of fund will be the same. Then the potential challenges, funding resources, so behavior of the target pupils, attendance of the participants, and lack of materials. Then indicators of success, the number of bullies and the person that are being bullied will decrease. They will know what to do if they are being bullied. Then it will establish their personality, courage to stand out, and widen their knowledge that bullying cannot bring them to success. Then this is the target persons. Thank you very much. So they insult you because they are insecure of something that they are lacking. So thank you.
Thank you. Do you have some comments or questions? Is it a big issue in university or only school? Do you have bullying in university?
Not sure, because we college students are more the things we are mature, we're very mature, then we can maybe we can control our emotions, because I am once a victim of bullying from junior high school at grade 7. So, elementary, din. So, may question po ako sa inyo, who among you experience bullying? There's so many experiencing bullying.
Any other comments? Any other questions? Would you like to bully him more? So one question. Okay, well, thank you very much.
We want to start it na topic. Our project proposal is entitled Hagdang Alayan ng Karunungan. I know that it's very unpopular word, especially for our visitors from the other country, and we translate it to path to a bright learning. And this project proposal focused on the sustainable development goals. Number 4 rather, I stand corrected. Number 4, quality education. So, the members are Abigail Andes, Armental, Ality Tashi, and yours truly. So, our problem statement, Nelson Mandela mentioned that education is the powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Why? Because education is the only key to eradicate poverty, to cure ignorance, to stop any bad habits, because if you are educated, you already have the knowledge, and you already know what is the difference between right and wrong. This implies that education is vital in shaping everyone's life. But it is hard to think that not everyone is given a chance to this right of education because of some hindrances such as poverty that still remain as one of the biggest problems of the Philippines. According to Republic Act No. 10580, Section 3, basic education is intended to meet basic learning needs which provide the foundation on which subsequent learning can be based. So, I will forward this. United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO, is also one of the organizations that is against discrimination in education.
So, just like any barangay in the city of Legazpi, Bitano also has a specified rate of children who are not attending school. That's why the proposal, Hagdang Alayan ng Karunungan or Path to Applied Learning, was proposed by YPA14 study students, is indeed for an action. So this is the map of Bitano.
So the objectives of our action plan is to conduct activities that will strengthen their education, to improve their ability to read and write, to provide them with information about the rights of children. So the activities. These two following activities for 2 days that we will take into consideration for Hagdang Alayan ng Karunungan or Path to Upright Learning. Conduct meeting with Young Men's Christian Association, or known as YMCA, selected as non-governmental organization to present the proposal. Conduct meeting with the SK officials of Bitano to present the proposal. Conduct meetings with the SK Bitano Elementary School principal and teachers. Identify the possible beneficiaries from Bitano and bear a hand from the barangay officials. Buy educational materials that will needed the program.
So, this is our schedule. So, from day 1, from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. So, science and math. So they afternoon, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. So persons involved, SK officials and YMCA staff. So day to morning, mathematics is the subject. Afternoon, so this is the coaching program. So we are giving certificates and gifts for the children. So, potential challenges. So, venue, lack of funds, children's behavior, and parents' permission.
So this was the estimated amount for the materials needed, with a total of 5,570 pesos. So, indicators of success. Willingness of the children to attend the 2 days program. Children are actively participating during discussions and to see and feel that we inspire children on the importance of education, and last, when the children gain knowledge and apply what we learn. So, honestly, we plan that we will get 20 children, 20 street children as the recipient. But one question is, what if there is no street children of Bitano? So our plan B was, we will visit the Bitano Elementary School, and there will Bitano Elementary School will be our target place, and elementary students, especially grade 2 students, will be our body proposal. Thank you.
Suggestions? Yes, please. Suggestion.
This is just a suggestion so you can improve your proposal. I have seen in the content of activities that the learning sessions are focused on many things, like there was a reading, and then something on mathematics, and then there's a lot of things. I suggest that you focus the learning session on one particular area first, and then after that, you can proceed to other areas. Okay, so that the development of competency would be more focused also on the part of the children. Are these street children, or they are elementary students?
Dapat po, madam, street children, but yun nga po, kung
Use the mic, please.
It should be street children, but if there's no street children in Bitano, we will go to Bitano Elementary School and we will change it to grade students.
Okay, now if they are elementary students, then probably you can coordinate with school teachers so you can identify the needs of these students before you conduct the activities to them. Okay, that's all.
What is SK? Many people say SK. What's SK?
SK stands for Sangguniang Kabataan.
Which means?
We are the young leaders that help the barangay officials in our barangay.
And you're a club from the university or youth leaders?
We are elected.
Elected youth members from that barangay.
Yes.
Good. Who elects you? Everyone or just young people?
Majority. The youth po, ages 15 to 30.
Okay. Good. Okay, thank you very much. Good. Good job.
And this is our project title. It's Tinapian Initiative, Building a Cleaner, Greener, and Healthier Tinapian. We'll explain it later. So we are the proponents. We are currently third-year students of the Doctor of Medicine with Masters in Public Administration, major in Health Emergency and Disaster Management. And for the project background, Barangay Tinapian is one of the barangays in Magito, Albay, wherein in the status quo, the municipality of Magito doesn't have a concrete implementation of RA 9003 or the Ecological Waste Management Act of 2000. Hence, the researchers or the proponents of this program would want to strengthen the implementation, strengthen the national law, and as well as to bring it to the grassroots levels of Barangay Tinapian in Magito, Albay. So for the project details, this is an effective and detailed intervention project designed to provide an efficient solid waste management system in Barangay Tinapian. The project includes the following phases with the acronym GREEN. Greening up phase, which is basically composed of the formulation of the legislations in support to the project itself, as well as the preparation of the different materials to be used for the execution of the project. The resource generation phase, the resource generation phase, which is basically composed of the systematic ways on how we are going to acquire funds to be appropriated to the project. The enrichment phase, which is basically focused on the seminars and conduct of training workshops to all members of the community in order for them to acquire knowledge about wastes, the different classifications of which, and the proper management or the disposal of which, plus the repercussions of not having a systematic way of disposing the wastes. Also, we have the execution phase, which is basically on the building proper of the materials recovery facility, as well as compost bins. And the nesting phase, which is concentrated on the monitoring and evaluation of the said project. So again, this is a one-year project, which will be, this is a one-year project that will begin on February 2018, and a year after, by February 2019, will be it will start by February 2019, and a year after, by February or March 2020, we will be turning it over to the community as their flagship project.
Okay, so based from our health assessment, we came up with this problem statement. So around 8 over 10 households in Barangay Tinapian do not have a efficient waste management system in February 2017. So we conduct actual survey. So based from our gathered data, we came up with these statistics. And our goal statement is to establish efficient waste management system in Barangay Tinapian. And our objective, efficient solid waste management system will be evident among 9 over 10 households in Barangay Tinapian by 2021. Okay, so based from this, we come up with our estimated program cost. So based from our assessment and background, we have 250 pesos. Solid waste seminar and workshop, we have 15,395. The IEC skills, which will be conducted to the barangay health workers, cost for about 845, and for the purchase of multi-purpose collecting vehicles, estimated budget po namin is 450,000 po. And total cost is for 166,840. And aside from that, we have also from gathering of aid for funds for the government, we have 980. Selection of MRF can be installed either by donation or purchase. We have 34,640. Establishment of MRF core group. We have 4,000. Conduct training workshop on core group members. We have 1,000. Enhancement of existing compost pits. We have 7,000. And establishment of core group will maintain the systematic composting and organic fertilizer making, 7,500. With a total of almost or lagpas po ng 500,000 yung estimated budget. So in terms of scheduling, so
for the schedule of tasks, we prepared a Gantt chart about the way on how we are going to implement this kind of project. So for the first part of our Gantt chart, we have on answering the lack of knowledge of proper waste segregation. That is basically answered through the conduct of different fora series as well as IEC campaigns to solve it. So it basically runs for about 2 months as projected to the Gantt chart. We also have, again, the continuation of it on the lectures and the IEC campaigns, still running for about a month, which will still coincide with the 2-month duration of the IEC campaigns. For the installation of materials recovery facility, our estimated time for it is about 2 months, since we're still going through a legal process on the acquisition of the land where the MRF will be constructed, as well as for the compost pits, which again, since we're going to acquire a lot, so there will be allotting 2 months for the legal actions about the acquisition. And finally, for the collecting system, we allotted 2 months again, since it will still undergo through several processes in order for us to obtain a higher amount that will suffice the acquisition and the purchase of the collecting vehicles.
Okay, so the potential challenges with this project include, like many of the other proposed projects, include insufficient funding, 2, lack of cooperation of the community members, 3, lack of political will, which is very important for this matter, and no available sanitary landfill or residual waste for the solid waste management. So, in terms of the indicators for success, we have specified many, which are based basically on statistical initiatives done by the proponents of this project. So, assessment of the background of the knowledge, the indicator is the appraised knowledge and understanding of 90% of households in Tinapian regarding waste segregation prior to the project implementation. So we have to assessment first. So next would be planning and preparation for the IEC or information again, education communication materials, and the indicator would be the finalization of IEC campaign plans prior to implementation, as well as the introduction of image and distribution to the participants. Next would be to raise community awareness. The indicator would be to equip all participants with the necessary knowledge on proper waste segregation by the end of the IEC campaign. Next is the establishment of IEC campaign. So this will be done for, as mentioned earlier, a series of 4 series. Yeah. So, and the indicator should be the launching of the IC campaign on waste legitimately and by the year 2020. So, increase the knowledge of the PRs. So, this is actually involved or included in the IEC campaign. Development of skills and capacity building also included. And next would be related to the funding. So, we have to identify and allocate possible funding. So, for the funding and purchase of waste collecting vehicles are going to be by the end of the third year of the purchase. So, for the information of many medical students, we immerse in the community for a month every year for 5 years. So, next is the purchase of collecting vehicles. So the indicator will include the purchase of 2 collecting vehicles. This is actually for the whole of the planning, only for Tinapian. So actually the beneficiaries of this project cannot only include the one barangay, but probably the whole of planning. Yeah, so yun lang. Thank you very much.
Yes, suggestion please. Go ahead.
I used to work in the social development sector, so if you want some tip on how to catch the community people, you better be there during the Mrs. I'm kidding. You want them to listen to you, that's them. Makibay limang kamuduman.
Yes, go. Thank you very much.
Noted po. In addition to that, since we are actually immersing per month po, we actually conduct core group meetings involving not only us, but also the people of the community, selected people from the community, which are possible point persons who will pursue the sustainability of the project.
Thank you. Other comments or suggestions?
And during make it exciting for them. During the business meetings, some of the concepts, the anin sa contest. You come up with a fishbowl contest wherein they will answer, and the one who can answer correctly concepts from the thing you want them to know and do, you give them some small prizes.
Noted.
Other suggestions or comments? So I think we're very pleased that we also had some people on the public health and medical schools, so thank you for coming.
Promoting peace through financial literacy. So, I will just make this fast. Mga 5 na. 6 na. Yes. So, okay, ma'am. So, let's go. Let's present. Problem statement will be, in times of drastic change in the economy, of course, we cannot deny the increasing rate of the needs and demands in our households and the society. So hence, the importance of financial literacy and knowing how to handle our finances properly are seldom noticed. Okay? So, giving its essence in promoting peace. Promoting peace is often neglected. For how can you be at peace knowing there are a lot of bills to be paid? Okay? So, ang daming bayaran sa tubig, sa ilaw, at least ka pa ba yan? So, of course, maapektuhan po yung peace natin. So, ngayon, thus the purpose of this proposal. It aims to address this concern conservatively and to encourage the readers that proper understanding and handling finances is the key to promote financial stability and peace. Of course, promote peace. So, objectives are first, to impart practical knowledge on principles and strategies in proper handling of finances to promote peace. And of course, apply acquired knowledge on day-to-day basis. And develop a strategy on how to discipline self in terms of handling finances properly. So, kailangan natin to. Methodology of the training. will consist the following: lectures, interactive discussions, presentation of different methodologies, group activities, and of course, open forum or sharing discussions. So these are the scheduled activities. Day 1, so as you can see, there, registration, preliminaries, and of course the topic number 1, which is peace in financial literacy. And topic number 2, at 1 to 4 p.m., topic proper handling of finances with basic accounting made easier. So by our resource speaker, maybe from CBM. So yeah, with of course sharing activity discussion. And we will going to close the program at 5 p.m. Exactly. So, but with our requirements, a grand total of 29,250, my dear friends. So, with contingency fund of 4,750 and the others. And of course, this is very important, the impact assessment. The objectives, of course, the indicators for this so for the objective number 1, number of participants able to enumerate the principles and strategies in proper handling of finances to promote peace. What are the instruments for this? Of course, the training evaluation, proceedings of the training, activity outputs, and photo documentation. So, kanina po pinipicture lang tayo, yun na yun. Okay, for goal number 2, of course, number of participants able to determine the connections from principles to the actual life scenario. So, just to say po yung mga indicators. Of course, the objective number 3, we have indicator, number of participants also able to develop a strategy on how to discipline self in terms of handling finances properly. So, meron din po tayo siyang workshop outputs, training eval, photo docs, and proceedings activities. So, we have here also the potential challenges. First, of course, pinaka-popular, budget constraints. And of course, next is the readiness of the participants to learn. Of course, there are some that who don't want to learn and don't appreciate learning these things, which is very important though. Next is, of course, the delay in the approval of the proposal, of course, and lack of human resources. So, that would be all. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you very much, Ira. Are there any suggestions or comments?
Well done.
Yes, so like and financial capacity building is very critical for sustainability. So good luck. Thank you.
You can start speaking.
Start speaking now. You may start speaking. Miss Alanyas.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our proposal is entitled Fair Fighters for Rights. Problem statement. Equality is the state of being equal in all aspects. It can be in human rights, employment, education, property, and other matters. It is somehow happening in our society nowadays. Most of the time, there's a conflict among the genders, rich and poor, educated and not educated. Discrimination in such ways can affect the behavior of a person. Inequality has a big impact on the economic performance by affecting social cohesion, trust, and motivation. Human rights are the basic rights and freedoms to which all human beings are entitled, like civil and political rights, the right to life and liberty, freedom of thought and speech and expressions, equality before the law, social, cultural, and economic rights, the right to food, the right to work, and the right to education. In short, human rights are freedoms established by custom or international agreement that protect the interests of humans and the conduct of governments in every nation. Section 2
2 of article in the 1987 Constitution. The Republic of the Philippines declares that the state values and the dignity of every human person and guarantee full respect for human rights, pursuant to this declared Constitution. The Bicol University Mission, APP Studies Department, Action Plan Objectives: to provide awareness among youth on human rights, to come up with programs and projects that will promote human rights. Action Plan Activities: conduct meetings together with the barangay and SK officials with regards to the activities to be conducted. Expected output: come up with strategies to have successful activities and good collaboration with the barangay and SK officials. Persons involved: SK officials, barangay officials. Preparation and conducting the activities. Expected output: to be able to inform the youth and other guests that would be invited in the said activity. Persons involved: guest speakers, youth, teachers, and professors. Activities: conducted activities, seminars, and orientation that takes about reducing inequalities. Expected output: to make the participants satisfied and knowledgeable enough regards to inequalities. Persons involved: youth, SK officials, adults within the barangay.
She said that girls blocking the screen. And she used to the next day.
That is the flow of the program.
Potential challenges. The availability of youth to participate in the program. How to encourage youth to attend such seminars. Loss of interest of youth and fund resources. And the success of the activity. Indicators of success. The success of the activity depends on how the participants will adopt and understand the importance of human rights in every person, especially the youth, and also on how they would apply it in their daily lives. Budget funding requirements. Particulars: snacks during program 5,000, materials and supplies 15,000, venue 5,000, tokens and certificates 5,000, total amount of 30,000. Lineages: Bicol University, the YPA. That's
Wow!
Are they fair fighters for rights? You like this aggressive name? No? Fair fighters for rights.
Rights ambassadors for Christ.
Ambassadors for rights. Love ambassadors for rights. So this is a interesting comment. Any other comments? No more comments. Thank you very much.
The closing program, and to start that, let's have Sir Mark Barrios of the College of Medicine for the Thanksgiving prayer.
Take picture, take picture.
Please stand. Let us put ourselves in the justice for their Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, loving God, as we prepare to conclude this seminar or the 14th Youth Peace Ambassadors Training Workshop, we once again lift our hearts to you. Our hearts praise you for your utmost wisdom and practical solutions to the problems offered today. The divine source of life, we thank you for the gifts that have been present within this act of service, for the gifts of fellowship and understanding, of mutual respect and shared vision. We are grateful for the gifts of perseverance and insight into the common concerns we share. For these and all other graces, we are thankful. As we leave this seminar or workshop, we proceed to our to proceed to our designated tasks. May your grace be with us as we fulfill our duties and responsibilities. As you have blessed our coming together, now please do bless our departure and journeys homeward. We taught us love, to be humble and to see you in others. We may perceive your face in each of our students, our colleagues, our staff, and faculty, and the people around us. May we serve you through them and love them as you have loved. All these we ask. Glory be to the Father, to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. In the name of the Father, and of the Holy Spirit.
While I was listening to the presentation, which amounted to 14 presentations, so I listed in random some challenges. First is, the first major challenge actually is for you to know the nature and the scope of your action plan. Because it is by knowing the nature and the scope of your action plan that you will be able to identify the right or correct people that you're supposed to contact with and rub elbow with. The identification of people who will pledge commitment to your action plan is very, very important, because after identifying them, of course you have to enjoin them to pledge strong support and commitment to your action plan. And it is only that way that you can build partnership and optimize collaboration with your identified person. When I say persons, I mean individuals, institutions, entities, okay, organizations, and even government institutions. Then, of course, the second challenge is the fund source. There is a need for you to have a lot of efforts to do in order to look for funding. Not just little amount of funds, but amount that is sufficient in order for you to be able to undertake your action plan from start to finish. Then, of course, given the situation that you have just limited funding or resources, you have to strategize on how to maximize the output in order for you to be able to attain or achieve the goals and objectives you identified as part of your action plan. Then another big challenge is the sustainability aspect. So this shouldn't just be a one-shot, but as much as possible, if the turn good, there is a need for you to move actually heavens and earth in order for you to have sustainability of your action plan that may be replicated, that may be repeated in other places, gaining the same achievement of goals and objectives. And at the end of it, you have to do some impact assessment, because we have to be able to realize the outcomes or the targeted conditions that we want to achieve, which should be in a long range, not only for a given short period, but as much as possible for a steady long period. Then, please be careful also of your timeliness, the timetable, and the management of time. There is a need for all the people identified by you who will be involved in the action plan to be able to be in sync and have common availability of time for the planning, execution, so on and so forth. Okay? So without time management, I think some action plans may be delayed, and we don't want to that happen. Okay? Then another big challenge is when it comes to execution of your plan or the implementation of your action plan. So perhaps there is a need for you to disseminate properly the philosophy behind your action plan in order for the people involved, the beneficiaries, even those who will be receiving benefits, to be able to understand that. And it is only by understanding the philosophy, the reason for being, or the reason behind your action plan that you'll be able to have a strong collaboration and force a certain culture, particularly culture of peace that can be passed from one generation to the next generation. Remember that every effort of yours in your action plan is a bit of a building block. Okay, so there you should not miss any building block that will connect every efforts and every steps or processes in your action plan. So every building block or small effort in the plan may be given attention, because it may be a very important one. So by that, I hope that all of your action plans will be carried out properly, successfully, so that like the faith of a water, which is never lost into nothingness, your name, your efforts, and your action plan will not also be just down the rail, okay, not just settle down in the level of oblivion. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Attorney Alex. We come now to the awarding of certificates of participation. May I call again?
Of Social Sciences and Philosophy through Attorney Alex Nepomuceno, the Department of Peace and Peace Studies. Of course, I would like to thank Dr. Herbert Lusana, Ma'am Gina Oropesa, Sir Lloyd Berdin, and of course the Extension Director ng College of Social Sciences and Philosophy, Professor Jerry Bicobo. Then of course yung International Relations Office of Dr. Dixon Rivero, the Office of the Presidential Affairs on Peace Process, and of course the American University of Sovereign Nations. For honoring our invitation to be with us in this 14th Youth Peace Ambassadors, together with Dr. Ananya Tripeptong Romjo. Dr. Dan Weber, working soon with Charles Sturt University of Sydney, Australia. And also to our partners from the different agencies, the DILG, the SWD, PIDEA, and yung iba pa, hindi ko na ma-mention. And of course, yung mga faculty and students of the different colleges of the University, and the students of the Department of Peace Studies. For coming up with all those action plans. So sabi nga, plan your action, work on your plans, work on your plans, something like that. And of course, let's do it together. Put meaningful programs and projects on peace. Of course, together with Bicol University and the local people in the community. So that's our way of transforming the lives of the people in the community where the real meaning of education is. So I guess that's all for this 2-day very productive, fruitful, and meaningful undertaking. Again, congratulations. God bless you all, and have a safe trip to our guests, of course, our global guests. Have a safe trip and hope to see you again soon. Thank you.